Internet has turned into a place where everyone is too adamant about putting themselves and others into shitty little boxes and then basing their entire worldview around them. The way everything has been divided into camps and people are seemingly forced to choose one, otherwise they risk being ostracized, feels nothing short of dystopian. And watching so many regular people be shoved down the pipeline of radicalism as a result is genuinely sad to watch. I remember with my own eyes that there was a time when people would speak up about the increasing radicalization of the public around the time that Trump was running for president. And back then, people would actually agree with the sentiment. You say that shit now, everybody's gonna tell you to shut up. It doesn't help either that the internet loves stripping things of its depth and nuance for the sake of painting narratives. Internet culture now, ever since Trump left office, has shifted from a hyperfixation on American politics to gender politics, or rather gender discourse. You cannot go anywhere on the internet without someone saying something that contributes to it. It has consumed the minds of so many. Whether it's the topic of incels, dating dynamics, gender roles, sexuality, male and female nature, or even just the simple fact that women have been the hottest topic on the internet for a few years now. The discourse never seems to slow down, and it's the perfect representation of the four traits you commonly see online: radicalism, tribalism, sensationalism, and a disingenuous nature. I'll start with tribalism. The mindset of, you're either with me or against me, and in that case you must intend to do me harm. This is mainly where binary thinking and a lack of empathy starts to begin. And it is so common to see opposite sides of the same exact shit-covered coin acting like they're the ones that are better and more civilized, solely off the basis that they're right. Like the conservatives that love calling liberals snowflakes even though they have complete fucking meltdowns over female minority characters being added in fiction. Or the guys that complain every day about women that complain about men every day. I think tribalism happens for a few reasons. First is that because Western society has a much weaker push for community in favor of individualism, a lot of people are lost and aimless. And personally, I truly believe that community is one of the most vital factors to a healthy mind and that the lack of one will damage it. So naturally, people will seek out and gravitate towards groups that will accept them and respect them. Real life communities are great, usually, but online communities tend to be terrible, like all of them. People that camp online tend to be much less well adjusted, so that's already bad to start with. And then you add the fact that most social medias are set up in a way that rewards you for being popular. Like, I don't think people understand that a tweet getting 50,000 likes doesn't mean you're right. It just means that 50,000 other dumbasses found your tweet. The second reason, to me, is the fact that it already exists on a mass scale. People see the fights going on daily, so they feel pressure to choose sides. And the third reason is that, of course, many people just side with who they inherently agree with more, but they stick with that team even to a fault. I've seen people disagree with the most level-headed takes.
Hello and welcome. Hey, happy life. So glad you could be here. And yes, indeed, let's go.
Other contexts,
today we're going to take a deep, dark look.
Going against the grain in any way that doesn't support today's current movement. With the name suggesting that she's only doing it from.
And with this young man,
the ironic
I had to share his point of view. What this young man says here,
pro-women they are, which is true until it's a woman
so on point. By the way, this is a young man.
How backwards this is. It also highlights another thing about the tribe mentality, which is at the moment
named Blessings Stranded. His channel is Blessings Stranded.
This white woman on Twitter.
The name of this video is called Internet Culture is fucking nauseating.
And to not much surprise,
once again, the name of his video here
near enough backlash towards this.
Internet culture is fucking nauseating. Now, I'm gonna immediately be demonetized if I ever was on this video.
It's also disturbing.
And thank you for the like, by the way. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
An illness against an individual that was part of an opposing group, and then justified, of course, by falsely painting them out as the devil for having different opinions. It's so gross. Tribes, of course, also have leaders.
I'm letting him explain to start the point of view here.
What's scary is that most often the ones who are going to be the loudest and most passionate ones in the room. Even if they're not trying to lead, people will still follow. Because that person possesses a level of energy, time investment, and more importantly, confidence
and as the clock
that other people wish they
clicks
had.
down,
and these tend to be the absolute worst people to follow.
So does the time we have to stop this mayhem.
Certain issues and emotions to get
so does the time we have to address it. So does the time we have something to do to deprogram it.
Yeah. I am so fucking tired of seeing the internet's new Donald Trump and hearing all these god-awful think pieces and tantrums over his popularity. He is the perfect example of sensationalism. Every time I think he's gone for good, he's forced back onto my feet.
30 seconds to midnight.
This was easily one of the most
frankly, I think we all know
I've ever had to sit through. And y'all gave her 4 million for this weak-ass response.
What time it is?
4. His entire brand is that he's the forbidden messenger that the world is out to get, that he's the one that will lead the revolution of masculinity against modern society who seeks to destroy it. And then what do y'all do? Instead of speaking on him once or twice, then never again, you continuously feed into that image, crying over every last thing he does, making him
time
more
to
popular,
look up,
spreading his message even wider, and giving his claims more validity to his audience. More popular, spreading his message even wider, and giving his claims more validity to his audience. You are complaining about the
Hey,
same
what's happening,
thing
everybody? I am
AronMSound,
AronMSound, and this is the show known as Look Up, where I, AronMSound, interject himself into a conversation that nobody, seriously, nobody, asked me to be a part of. But hey, here I am, interjecting myself, and hopefully that I can take that conversation somewhere. It was not intended to go in the first place. And today's topic, and hello and welcome to everybody, by the way. Happy life. I'm so glad you've... Emily, what's going on, folks? Let me give you the big old horn. A little impact. I got the double impact buttons. We're going full tilt. The orchestra is just going wild today because we're intermingling some things. And we're starting with a gentleman, a young man, who... once I found his channel, man, I am so in league with this guy. Talk about... a good idea, a face-forward statement, a presentation that makes him pretty generally reasonable as far as I can tell. Interesting. Oh, my broadcast is kind of dragging today. Interesting. All right, well, let me know if it looks wacky. In any case, what are we talking about today? We're going into a deep, dark dive into the world of the war room Andrew Tate. Now, I preface Andrew Tate by saying the war room because that's essentially the backflip, the mental state that these folks are in. They believe that they're at some spiritual war with some unseen force called the Matrix. When I think we've pretty clearly covered in some of my other videos that if anybody's the Matrix, it's you and I together making up reality. But that's a whole other subject, folks. I don't want to get down that little wild path of quantum physics. But today, instead of that, we're going to dismantle this person piece by piece, statement by statement. And I was looking for something to sum it up. I was looking for a video that could, let us all in to kind of the mindset and a fail state point that may have been exposed, that maybe people weren't aware of. And that's what I found. Isn't it amazing how that happens? It may be me. Hold on a second. I have a lot of things going on. And I think what I'm going to have to do here is, I'm going to have to, I think what it is I'm going to have to get rid of something here. And let me see if this does me any good. I probably will. I was trying to add some extra overlays today, and that may have done it. Could also be the orchestra. Okay, it looks like I'm back. And the line seems to be getting dragged. Unfortunately, this is what happens sometimes, especially when somebody becomes aware that you're about to let them know that that maybe you've got some information they don't want you to have. But that's, this stuff happens, folks. This stuff happens. And let me just make sure I don't have anything else in here that I should probably get rid of. Oh, let's dump that. Let's dump this. Yeah. All right. That should be fine. I'm fine. Oh yeah, definitely. Seems to be some of that extra little stuff that was dragging me down. Oh wow. You know what? I'm also gonna close. Hold on a second. I'm gonna close out my stickers and close out Twitch. And I'm going to close out the dashboard. All right, let's get into the story. Hopefully that sped it up. Oh, yeah. Emily, Friday is going to be a day that folks may start paying attention, but we shall see. Anyways, today, Tate is just getting started, apparently. But that's not really the only thing. Tate, this interesting character, is, they will always hate the truth. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It seems as so. Yeah, oh, wow. I really stalled there for a second. Holy mackerel. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop Twitch. And so I apologize to the Twitch crowd. I'm going to restart you. And let's see if that frees me up. Frees me up a little bit. That's very strange. Yeah, I'm definitely getting dragged. And you'll see the bandwidth open up here in a second. Yeah, thanks for bearing with me, by the way. Oh no, it'll come in. Yeah. Anyhow, so today, let's go back into a little what this gentleman was saying, and then we're gonna start talking about and sharing. Thank you. Good to know. Thank you. And sharing what's gone down with Andy Tate.
Player tip: if being hated for the truth or having the balls to say something is a key part of someone's identity, your best bet is to literally ignore them. As in, do not give them the attention that they need. In general, the best way to handle a lot of shit is to simply ignore it, or at least not feed into it. I don't know if you'll
that's a big deal. Don't feed into other people's hate. Don't feed into the idea that you've got to react to them. That leave that to people like me who pull them out of the woodwork. And that's part of the big deal. I think we've learned pretty much through life. Oh no, there's no butting in. Of course, I appreciate it. That's what this is all about. It's a conversation. It's not just, it's not just me screaming at you, which happens to be a lot of what I do here. Is unlike, some folks who are just screaming, pounding their fists on the table, deciding for you that they are the arbiter of life. I'm trying to have a conversation with people, and so I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you taking the time. I was never a fan of Tate, but Happy Life, are you saying you were a fan? I think there's lots of people that were a fan until they found out that he basically wasn't in the best interest of anybody, and that he was abusing people, essentially, it seems, based off of the reports, and that his behavior is not very healthy, actually, when you take a good look at the behavior in itself. And I'm going to lay that out today, much less the fact that I had to go back to an old video of mine, an earlier video, probably one of the first 5 or 6, where I didn't even have music. I did not have music. And I have a different background. Was I a fan of Andrew Tate? No. I found him via the whole Pearly Things verse, and via the leads from my colleague originally to look at somebody else, which I can now say was the Sartorius shooter. And a colleague of Andrew Tate's. And we should all be aware of who's around this person. So let me open up my clips here. Which, by the way, it might also be, oh yeah, look at the feed. It really was Twitch dragging it down. Ain't that amazing? Ain't that amazing? I'm gonna try igniting Twitch again, and we'll see. Oh no! Even looking at it drags it down. Something is up. I must need to update something. Clearly, that's what happens when you when this starts doing that. All right, I'm not gonna worry about it. Wow, dragging me. I'm looking at this and it's literally dragging. All right. Anyhow, let's get into my clips. So, Andrew Tate affects a lot of people. they're influenced by him, by his example. And I think if we look at his example, we might be kind of astonished to find that he's not the best example. And before we move on, the suggestion here, which I think is brilliant, that if you're not a professional troll like me, if you're not used to pulling out the cockroaches with the fumes like me, or practiced at it to the point where your skin is so thick, people can lob anything at you, and it's not going to harm you because I know my morality, I know my experiences in life, I have an example, I have the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. Look, I'm a rounded person, basically, apparently, based off the, knock on wood, based off the standards of the day. So thank goodness for it. But that's only because I've lived a pretty wildly experienced life, let's say. I've done a lot, I've allowed myself to do a lot, and so my point of view is maybe a little more than less. Not better, just more inclusive, maybe. They would call it wisdom, but I don't even know if it's that, frankly. It's just a matter that I've seen a lot, so I try to share it here. And so if you're younger and you're listening, I appreciate it. And A Happy Life says, Andrew Tate was outspoken calling out BS and doing things, but at the end of the day, if you have him as your leader, shut the fuck up. And I agree with you, Happy Life, like 1,000,000%. Because you can't rely on a leader. I wouldn't rely on a leader. I don't think we should rely on a leader that pushes the ideology of disenfranchisement and hate and seeing people as property. I think those are inherently bad as an ideology and as a way to see the world. So, call me crazy. You can go ahead and call me crazy. I mean, that's fine. But I really don't think I am. I really don't think I am. I think I'm actually, you know what, I'm gonna close the call in today. I bet you that's actually what it is. I'm gonna close the call in and see what happens here. Sure enough, look at that. I wonder if they're getting me through the back of the call. Anyway, I don't know. Look at that too much. Look at that. Make sure I don't have anything stupid open. No. All right, we're fine. It's one thing to be outspoken, but it's a whole other thing to be outspoken with such a limited point of view, and it's all based on a bias to get people to buy a program, a shill, a scam, and it resonates throughout the business model that this person uses. And I say a scam, a shill, an unreliable behavior, because this is the whole background of getting people to come visit you based off of an interest in dating, and then you turn the tables and say, no, I want you to work for my camera program, or I want you to, I was going to date you. I mean, we can date, but you have to be part of my harem. Oh, you didn't know I had a harem? Oh, wow. And by the way, if you didn't know, I am definitely seeing crazy drop and roll and audience members getting pushed off here. So I apologize if you got pushed. That's not the feed at all. That's something else. Wow. And I can't even look at oh yeah, no, it was definitely Discord. And I wonder if nope. I can't even think about looking at the feed. Oh my goodness. Amazing. So I'm just not going to do that. It happens. Here we are. The best answer is to ignore them and to put something positive in their way, because they don't know how to deal with the positive. And because I'm not on the Twitch, I'm going to take the Twitch chat down. So, sorry for Twitch users today. I'll replay this for you later. Oh yeah, Emily, this guy. So the answer really is, putting a crocheted lion, which, by the way, that's huge. That's a lot of crochet. That's an incredible amount of crochet work. So putting something else positive in their way tends to throw them off their game, because the trolls, the contrarians, the disagreeable ones, they don't know how to take the positivity. They think the whole world is made up of killjoys. Trafficking taint. Yes, exactly. Trafficking taint. We can call him that for sure. He definitely seems to have been doing something of that nature. Whether you want to call it the lover boy method or whatever other scam method you want to call it, that's basically how the guy works. And it pressures people into working in a situation that they probably wouldn't have otherwise. So I think, let's take a good look at this. And how we're going to take a look at this today is we're going to start with a little show that he was on. And, excuse me for not looking at the camera or looking at you. But I need to change up a little selection here. And that selection is how we're going to address Mr. Tate. And the first addressing we're going to do here, addressing not like we're not doing ranch, we're not doing Italian.
Are you anti-woman? I love women. In fact, interesting statistic, 100% of the people I've ever had sex with were women. So
we're doing idiot salad.
I'm not against women at all. I'm not.
Yeah, I think so.
In any regard, I'm not misogynist either. I'm
oh no, that's absolutely a misogynist thing to say. That's actually a misogynist joke. Yeah, 100% of the women I've slept with have been.
I'm none of those things.
Why do they call you that? Why do they call you that?
Because I say.
What do you think it is that you say that makes people think you're like sexist?
Because I say the truth.
Which is?
Women can't fight. Men are stronger.
So that's the truth to him.
Like
basic stuff he says.
I think another thing I said is and maybe I'll upset the ladies on the podcast. I hope not, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Probably will.
I said if I were to get on a plane.
Yeah, she said probably will.
That plane was to fly into the eye of a hurricane. There was a 50% chance of it crashing. I'd want a male pilot because I think that males are better under stress and under pressure. I think they're less likely to get emotional in a life or death.
So his ideas of women are based around what he feels about them. And real quickly, let me just
100% of the people I've ever had sex with.
Let me just pull this up real quickly.
I love women. I have nothing against women at all.
Add a new window here.
In any regard, I'm not misogynist. I'm a realist.
Like
I'm a realistic person.
Let me find out. I'm going to type into Google accident
none of those things. I am just
rate commercial pilots
What do you think it is that you say that makes people think you're like
by gender.
Because I say the truth.
Which is?
Oh, what happened here? Oh, it opened up like 12 windows. What happened there?
Men are stronger. Like base.
Let's see. Comparative.
And maybe I'll upset the ladies.
Rates.
I hope not. But please correct
accidents.
Me I said if I were to get
commercial
on a plane,
pilots.
And I were to that plane was to fly into the eye of a hurricane.
By gender.
Chance of it crashing. I'd want a male pilot because I think
accident rate average for female ATP certified and commercial pilots was 31%, comparative to males for 50%. All right, that's pretty straight ahead. Women are better pilots.
In fact,
on average. So he's wrong. He's not just wrong. He's just ignorant of the subject. Comparing pilot error accident rates of male and female. Let's just go to Science Direct. And here, let me add this to the image so you guys can see this.
But I'm none of those things. I am just.
Why do they call you that? Why do they call?
Why do they call him that? Because he's ignorant of the subjects. Oh, I am not adding there. I'm adding here.
Women can't fight. Men are stronger.
And we're gonna add a window here, so.
More true things. I think another thing I said is and maybe I'll upset the ladies on the podcast. I hope not, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Probably will.
I said if I were to get on a plane and I were to.
Okay, so the information here, that's what misogynist. I love women. I am a realist. Yeah, 100% of the women I sleep with are women.
Emotional
like 100% of the people I love women because 100% of the people I sleep with are women. Like that's his rationale.
100% of the people I've ever had sex with.
So. Let me see. Comparing pilot error accident rates of male and female airline pilots. The abstract. Shush, 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 man. Shush. Way too much money for somebody with that little knowledge. It just once again goes to prove you don't have to be smart You just have to be cunning. You just have to be ruthless. You just have to not care. That's what the real way to make money, apparently, and to have influence these days. So the results are based on data of aviation accidents in the years 1986 to 1992 obtained for the Federal Aviation Administration. The study found that females employed by major airlines had significantly higher accident rates than their male counterparts at that time period. Ooh! However, female airline pilots on average were less experienced and much younger than males at that time. Oh, so that's why now so they use old models to rely on that information. That's where they get that from. The perceptions based off of those studies have adjusted over time, it says, and have been examined as pilot-specific factors such as gender, personality, situational, personal characteristics. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But in the end, the last response that the most recent information says the accident rate average for female air. Let me zoom it in over this guy. The accident rate for female ATP certified commercial pilots was 30%. For male, 31%, and for males, 50%. And for each year, the accident rate was lower for females than males since they've been included in the process of flying. Isn't that amazing how that changes? When people get more experience and there's more of them. So there's also perception of confidence in male and female pilots. We don't need to get into that. I don't think we need to really get into that, do we? No. All right. Cool. So. Thanks for being here, by the way. I appreciate every single one of you for taking part and for being interested, because these are the problems of our time. They are affecting the youth. They are affecting society. And these messages, well, they are not easily dismissed by just saying that we can play along with them. No. As a matter of fact, we can't play along with these people at all. We need to counter their information. We need to remind them that we're here, because a lot of these folks would have you believe that we're not here, and that we're just screaming into the void, that we don't have any points, that we don't actually take part, and that somehow we're the crazy ones for thinking that they're ruthless. That we're the crazy ones for believing that folks should get along and love each other. But frankly, it's our job to do so as humans for each other. Having compassion and empathy and extending a hand. Because there's more to this than just Andy Tate. No, there's the effect that we feel. And the association to a larger structure and a construct that this person is specifically playing into and acting like he's playing against. And I don't think that we should take that lightly. I don't think we should take it at face value, and I think we should look deeper into it. So that's what we're doing.
Alhamdulillah, we love everybody. Allah's the one true God, and we shouldn't worship any false idols.
I'm sorry, am I running the wrong video?
We don't need to worship anything else, no false idols, because that's extremely haram. That's the biggest sin. Shout out to Zerka's uncle. Zerka's uncle, I hope you beat the shit out of Zerka.
What does this guy have to do with it?
I will see you guys.
We're talking about acolytes.
Hold up, man.
We're talking about.
If you miss any of the stream, make sure to join the locals. Bro, can I say my fucking outro?
Watch the love of his life.
Get the fuck out of here, you fucking cokehead junkie. Fucking degenerate doing Satan's drugs.
What do these things have to do with one another? Well, some of them are acolytes of the other, following the display, following the behavior. Basically, screaming out to the world that this is how you live if you want to live well, in their eyes. And I think that's a problem when you talk about the youth, when you talk about the observation of example, when you talk about these people actually putting themselves out there as a role model. These people are not role models. I'm sorry, not in my estimation. Huh. No. These people are scammers. They want their money. They want their ideas. They want their spirits. They want their energy. Let's call them vampires. Social vampires. Because they basically spread a social virus, you know, a contagion of thought. Once again, I don't think we should take this very lightly.
Join Steve.locals.com if you miss any of this live stream. I'll upload it on there because with the Matrix did attack. That was
Because
the weirdest.
the Matrix.
As soon as they started talking about Mossad, the Wi-Fi went out. And follow the stream.
Sorry. Let me share with you the video I was
anti-woman?
really planning on sharing.
I love women. In fact, interesting statistic, 100% of the people I've ever had sex with were women. So I love women. I have nothing against women at all. I'm not sexist in any regard. I'm not misogynist either. I'm a realist.
Oh, did I already
But
share
I'm a
this to
realistic
remind you
person. As a
that
realist, in the modern world,
this is
they're
his point of
calling me
view?
Sexist, misogynist, etc. But I'm none of those things. I am just.
Why do they call you that? Why do they call you that?
Because I say.
What do you think it is that you say that makes people think you're like sexist?
Because I say the truth. Anyone who's
He thinks
honest
it's the
would want
truth.
A male pilot in said situation.
Is it the
would not
truth?
want a
You
female
tell
pilot.
me. I don't think it's the truth.
So I disagree with that. I think that's a person by person, but I agree with men are stronger than women. I don't think anyone can argue that.
If you're telling me if you were to fly into a hurricane and you had the choice between a male pilot and a female pilot, you would have zero preference at all, Dave.
Not knowing anything about either of them, they're both pro pilots. No, I wouldn't. We're not talking about dunking a basketball.
Well, I would choose a man because I know from my own personal experiences that when shit hits the fan and emotions are high and it's life or death, that the man is more likely to remain calm. And calm is what's going to keep me alive. So I would choose the man. For the same reason, I would choose women to do other things. Let me give you another example then, Dave. If gender roles aren't real and you're now...
No, I think there are gender roles are real. That particular example, though, I'm sure you can have great female pilots.
I never said you couldn't. I said I'd choose a man in that particular situation.
I don't think that's like...
Anyone who's honest would want a male pilot in said situation. You would not want a female pilot.
See, we've already asserted that that's wrong, though.
I agree with men are stronger than women. I don't think anyone can argue that.
But that's really how they feel. It's not just how they feel. It's how they don't respect the opposite sex. How someone like Andrew Tate thinks that men and women are different.
But what's that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
Yeah, so that's what.
So that is you saying that women
He thinks
are
they're property.
your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him and the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. Male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's
Yeah,
given
that's
over.
inherently where you get called sexist.
No, it's not. Well, you can call me sexist if you want, but if you look at marriage, it's the bride's father who gives her away. It's not the groom's father.
So he thinks that giving away a bride is actually property being given away.
So it's slavery.
Well, like
Yeah,
it's
no, but I gotta
1892
guess
or
as somebody who's
1763 or
multicultural and everything,
1564.
That certainly
Yeah, it's not. It's
that does not apply
2023,
everywhere.
folks. We're not going
The
back.
woman is always given over to the man. Read the Bible, read the Quran, you can go to...
And that's what's important is that we
Yeah, no
absolutely
chances that
recreate the
like
time
African
periods
cultures where they don't do that.
that these books were written
I'm sure
in.
there are some obscure
Okay.
tribes somewhere.
Huh.
I mean, I can't say... I'm not a professional.
But you get it. You seem like a very
gotta- yeah, you
smart
gotta
guy.
understand
You
why
seem like
people
a
would
smart
say
guy.
that.
You're saying a woman is the property of a man if they're dating.
I'm not saying they're appropriate. I'm saying they're given to the man, and they belong to the man. It doesn't mean they're pure
given
property without emotion.
to
It
the
means they're
man.
living- They're given to the man. They take the man's name.
You said
They
it's
belong
This
to
is
the man.
his mindset.
It's the guy's
This
parts.
is his rationale.
So like if she's on OnlyFans, the guy owns those parts, so he gets a cut.
Well, those parts are intimate, right? That's the whole point of her being his.
Yeah, but you didn't do reverse. When I said if a male porn star does it, he doesn't owe the girl a cut.
Correct, because he doesn't belong to her. She still belongs to him.
Correct. So that's the sexist part.
But and you've also said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners.
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so choose. We're all free.
But you can't do both.
Yeah, but you
woman could say
wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I don't think I would personally find that revolting. Correct?
Of course he
But
would,
there are women
because
who find what I say revolting.
So you're not
He
telling
doesn't
other
see
people what to
equality
think, you're
as a
saying how you think.
positive.
Yeah, I
He
mean, I
sees
think that
women as a
if
thing.
man is sexual is not sexually exclusive. It's not the same as if a woman is, because with a woman you have the paternity issue. With a man you don't have the paternity issue. If I have 3 girlfriends and they all get pregnant, we know who the mother and who the father is. If you have 1 woman and 3 men, you don't know who even the parents are if she got pregnant. So it's a whole big issue, right?
Not that we live in the 21st century and that that would be frowned upon in general.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I said science can step in and fix
According
it.
to
That doesn't
Pearl
mean
and
it's
everybody
not
else.
haram and against the will of God. Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands.
Yeah, but we don't live in the
It's
time of the Bible.
disgusting.
We don't have a need to populate the earth that way.
That would assume that,
Unless, of
if you're
course, you
going in
believe
this
that we're
universe where everybody's reading
living
the
in some
Bible, which is
imaginary time
different
period.
religions all across the globe, reading different things, believe in different things. Interesting.
And that seems pretty wild to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That these folks are literally talking about ideologies that haven't been practiced for 1,000 years. And if they have been, holy mackerel, we should be concerned that somebody's practicing that.
Celebrated for having multiple husbands. Female
By the way,
has always been disgusting and frowned upon.
Because she's
in
his.
every single book ever written ever in all of history and all
is you
cultures
saying that
ever.
women
were
are
supposed to be
your
virgins.
property.
Women sleep with
Call
lots
in.
of men has never been.
The call-in line is now
Besides,
officially.
the last 40 years in the West in a degrading society. Well, yeah, okay, cool. But if you're going to look at it traditionally, women were not supposed to act that way. And I don't think
Officially
women
open.
act that way anyway. I don't think women intrinsically want to fuck the women belong to the man. I don't think
apparently where you get called.
well, the women I know don't want to. When I meet a woman, she doesn't say, "I can't wait to get out there." So who gives her away? It's not the groom's father. It's the tradition. Maybe there are some.
I gotta
That
guess.
woman
There's
belongs to the man.
definitely like cleat chasers who fucking love that.
Yeah, we have 18 modern wealth creation methods, and I'll have to let people enroll in the school. It's extremely cheap. It's $49, and you can enroll and follow the.
This is what it's about.
Or if you're cash poor, because it's easy to make money if you have money. But a lot of people think that they can turn 10 grand.
So it's easy if you make money, if you got money.
To start depends if you have time. Depends on your expertise.
And Emily says back in the day, let me pull this up. I'm sorry, should just have this in front of me, but I've pulled 12 windows in front. So Emily says back in the day, a man could leave the children in his will to someone else. Women didn't have right to their own children. It was just about land rights, and that's correct. My mother couldn't even be on the title in Los Angeles County until 2 years after I was born. 1976, folks. I'm 1974. So, do the math. 49. It wasn't that long ago. Women really have come a very long way, and people like Tate want to take the whole thing back. Because, by the way, although I haven't found him saying it, I would gather that he's part of the anti-19th Amendment group, but I'm just assuming there, so don't hold it against me if he says something otherwise that contradicts his own, perceptions. Let me hop back over to the video here.
Being property, it's about the fact that she belongs to him, and the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those parts of her body.
So it's reversed.
So he's teaching men that women are property,
because I think the women belong
especially
to
if
the
you
man,
get them on
the woman's
OnlyFans. Boy, isn't there kind of a mirror between what he does for a living and what he's doing in this situation?
It's the bride's father who gives her away. It's not the groom's father. It's
old tradition.
I gotta guess.
woman belongs to the man.
So it's slavery.
Yeah,
I gotta guess.
yeah,
Somebody who's
it's
multi
a form of slavery. Here, let me shrink down. Let me get a nutshot on it.
The woman is
There
always
we
given
go.
over to the man. Read the Bible, read the Quran, you can go to
Walking down the aisle, no chance. There's like African cultures where they don't do that.
I'm sure there are some obscure tribes somewhere.
Oh, it's obscure.
I mean,
Of course, because it's a tribe.
What's that
It's just obscure.
because she's his.
Yeah, so that's that.
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not
Yes.
about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him, and the intimate parts of her
So,
body belong to him. 'Cause
they're
in a
his
relationship.
property.
If she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those parts of her body.
So it's reversed. A male porn star owes the woman.
Yes.
I don't know because I think the
Oh, he doesn't know. Hold on a second.
No, it's not. Well, you can call me sexist if you want.
Wait, hold on a second. So he doesn't know there.
And I don't think women want the.
He doesn't know there, but if it's in his
slavery
interest, then of course
somebody who's multicultural.
she gotta pay him. But if he's making the money, he doesn't have to pay her because I would just assume he's paying all the bills, right? I mean, it's like he only has known one type of person or one type of experience or one type of idea. Weird. Super weird. Not really clear on where he gets it other than he has gotten away with it. And that has allowed him to have the attitude and the behavior that he has and make the money that he has. And once you get that allowance, then suddenly all the access becomes easy. And you forget that maybe it's taboo. Maybe people see it as bad. Or maybe you take advantage of that because it's so salacious that they just buy into the whole spiel, hook, line, and sinker. Because frankly, the lowest common denominator is who he's selling to. Folks that are looking for an answer. Folks that are hoping for an answer. And Emily says, trying to use religion to oppress once again. Trump plans to rewrite the 14th Amendment. Absolutely. If the dude can, you know he would. I mean, we would see a whole change in the country, by the way, if that person got a hold of it one more time. I think we were seeing the beginning of that last time. And frankly, I don't want to live in a nation like that. I want to live in the nation that we live in, which is already problematic. We don't need somebody making it worse because they want to obfuscate to make more money off the situation and scam and turn us into Biff's world. Like, like in Back to the Future. Because that's exactly what people forget this whole place could be. And by the way, I'm putting the chat call in up. Now that I know that it's not the call in that Twitch is having problems today, which doesn't surprise me. I think they might have figured out that I'm multi-streaming. Ooh, hey! No wonder it was dragging me. Life goes on, and hello and welcome. If you just joined us, I'm AronMSound, and this is Look Up, the program where I interject myself into a conversation that not a single sane person asked me to be involved in, but by way of which, hopefully, I take the conversation somewhere it wasn't meant to go. And today's topic, Andy Tate. Hey, Paula Gray, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you could be here. Today, Andy Tate, Andra, who thinks that women, and I'll play this back for you specifically, you might appreciate this and not appreciate it all at the same time, which is, talk about the conundrum of life. Well,
Is.
Yeah, so that's
Andy thinks women
saying that women are your
property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him, and the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. Male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's given over.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
So-
you can call me sexist if you want, but if you look at marriage, it's the bride's father who gives her away. It's not the groom's father.
I gotta guess.
The woman belongs to the man.
So it's slavery.
So his logic is that it's okay for me to be the owner, but it's not okay for her to be the owner or sharing. No, there's no sharing, there's no compromise, there's no cooperation, it's ownership, it's limitation, it's mental slavery. This is as good enough a time as any for me to mention it. We live in a world where mental slavery is literally everything we're inundated with through fear, through manufactured scarcity, through the sense that an echo chamber can tell you what it needs to keep you in place. And when I say it, I mean, let's treat these echo chambers as people, because they are people who want you to be tribalized just like them and to fit into a mold that can be turned and manipulated into fear and by fear and for fear. And why? Because it's easier to keep people at bay if they're arguing amongst themselves as to what to find a solution over. It's easier to keep people arguing so they don't look up. At the top of the obelisk, this metaphor, an actual physical structure that we see in the center of most major cities, and countries around the world, this metaphor being in its physical structure a funnel made up of you and I, holding ourselves in a prison that doesn't fucking exist, for the benefit of a few, sitting in their ben up at the top, receiving all of our gifts and following and clout, and just feeding our energy up to it. Even though all you need to do is reach your hand out to the neighbor across from you and say, hey, I'm here. You got a friend in me. I may be awkward. You may be awkward. But you know what? We can step right outside the prison cell. I've got a sledgehammer of mirth. You want to take this thing down? I think we should do that together. Because we're not talking about a matrix. That's bullshit. We are the matrix. They'd have you hate yourself. We make up reality. So let's just get past that and talk about them as the viruses they are, trying to turn happiness and joy, hedonism, the sight of life as a positive experience. They want to take that away from people. They want to turn people into property and have everybody just accept that. And frankly, I'm not down for that. I don't know about you. I don't dig it. I don't dig it at all. I think it's bullshit. I think there's an easier way. I think there's better ways. I think there's healthier ways. I think that love, that relationships, the compassion, the cooperation are what we should be focusing on, and better ways to do that for one another, not better ways to own one another by example of some rich motherfucker who in the background pushes agendas that range anywhere from disenfranchisement in general of each other to racism, misogyny, misandry, self-loathing, inceldom, you name it. This guy, he wants to take over the world one mind at a time, and in many ways, the examples are terrible, but yeah, he is. And the shock, and I've left this man's face up here because this is the feeling I have. He is making the face of the feeling that I personally have about this. I would hope that we all do personally have that feeling about this. So let's go back to another step here. Andrew Tate.
Well, those parts are intimate, right? That's the whole point of her being his.
Yeah, but you didn't do reverse. When I said if a male porn star does it, he doesn't owe the girl a cut.
Correct, because he doesn't belong to her. She still belongs to him.
Correct. So that's the sexist part.
But and you've also said that you could. You also said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners.
Well, a woman could say that same thing if she decided. She could say, I can sleep with multiple men, but my men can't sleep with multiple women if she so chooses.
Well, that's nice of you.
Right?
Yeah, but you don't. You wouldn't agree if a woman said that.
I don't think I would personally find that revolting. Correct.
But let me correct the call-in.
So you're not
sent the wrong call.
You're just saying how
I sent you the happiness disco.
I think if a man is not sexually exclusive, it's not the same as if a woman is, because with a woman you have the paternity issue. With a man you don't have a paternity issue. If I have 3 girlfriends and they all get pregnant, we know who the mother and who the father is. If you have 1 woman and 3 men, you don't know who even the parents are if she got pregnant. So it's a whole big issue, right? Science can step in and kind of fix it.
Oh yeah, science could step in, but you know, that's after the whole harem issue.
Step in and fix it.
What?
But that doesn't mean it's not haram and against the will of God. Look, read the Bible. Every single man had multiple wives. Not a single woman had multiple husbands. It's against the will of God. It's disgusting. In the eyes of God himself.
That would assume that if you're going in this multi-universe where everybody's reading the Bible, which is there's different religions.
The orchestra's having a problem.
Reading different things, believing different things. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my point is, if we talk about tradition, I'm not even talking about myself.
Because they're always concerned about traditions that they don't follow themselves.
Every single man in history had multiple wives, and there was not a single woman who was celebrated for having multiple husbands. Female promiscuity has always been disgusting and frowned upon. In every single book ever written, ever, in all of history, in all cultures ever, women were supposed to be virgins. Women sleeping with lots and lots and lots of men has never been celebrated, ever.
So apparently women's sexuality has never been celebrated, according to him, which I think is hilarious, because what planet is he on that people didn't celebrate women's sexuality, being that there's 8 billion of us, or there were female gods, or the fact that,
I can't wait to get out there and sleep with a bunch of dudes. Maybe there are some. I don't know. We don't want
there's definitely like cliche players who fucking love that.
Yeah, we have 18 modern wealth creation methods, and I'll have to let people enroll in the school. It's extremely cheap. It's $49, and you can enroll and follow the.
Okay, so this is the portion that I really want you to recognize about this guy.
It's easy to make money if you have money, but a lot of people think that
he wants to sell you a course.
money. That's not money. So
and I think that that's his real interest. That's his real deal here, is that he wants to sell you a course and how he can show you how to live, show you how to be, show you how to date, even though he's not going to show you how to date.
87,000 people out in the world making more money than they invest each month.
Yeah, but he doesn't substantiate that. I've looked into it. There's no substantiation for that.
Of course they can. I don't know where getting this impression I hate women. I mean we can attempt to.
I can't imagine where people would get the idea that you hate women.
Without all we want. I'm happy.
There we go. There's the correct call-in. Pin to the top.
I believe women
oh no, Emily! I'm always pinning your messages. I apologize.
I would never let a woman. If someone touched me to my woman, I would stand up against
big
10
thumbs,
men by
large
myself and
thumbs,
risk my
folks,
life
as you can
to protect
tell.
her. I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think
there
that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can fight like a man can.
Yeah, of course you don't, because the ones you deal with are basically, crazy, and you pick them out on purpose as crazy. And it's a shame, because I'm sure that if they didn't get treated the way you're treating them, they probably wouldn't be as nuts, because that tends to cause a lot of people to go nuts when you treat them like shit over and over. I will take the 0 on his course. Yes, thank you. Me, I as well. I will take that big L all day, because that is that's not an L at all. That's a W. That's a big W. If you want to take the WL community's views, but W and L's, that's for Friday. That's when we go back to a lot of a large amount of deleted material, including videos I recently shared with you about Destiny. Now, Andy Tate may have power and money, but Destiny, that dude, I don't know what's going on with. Well, I do, and I'm going to share with you some real disturbing stuff about that guy on Friday. Yes, everybody and their brother. That's why I don't have a course. I just teach you. If I got something to share with you, I learn from you. I'm hoping that you learn from me a little bit, but you don't have to pay for it. If anything. Oh, by the way, if anything, you want to buy me some lunch? That's cool too. If you go, by the way, to my About page, I always forget to do this. I do have like donations and stuff to the local, which by the way, we raised our first $100. I'm waiting on PayPal to send me the money so that I can take it down there, make a little video, and drop off the money. I'm doing it anonymously with the daycare there right here in Valverde, and but you guys don't know, and I'm not to Valor signal or anything, but I just want you all to know that I took it down there. That I who would marry this guy? Nobody, and if he is married, I mean, look at him. Smells like Axe, cigars, and balls. He's spending a lot of time with a lot of men, being manly, sweating, beating each other up, wrestling with each other close on the mat. I think we talked about this. There's a lot of Myron Gaines and all that, right? A lot of Myron Gaines. But speaking of which, there's some certain similarities to he and Myron Gaines, and I'm sorry to put my head down on you, but let me go back into the library and share with you just a little moment that I found. Where is that? That would be, Andrew Tate and Cheyenne had a dating moment.
Do you agree with my point? Yeah, not always. Listen, there's men that are funny that aren't that attractive that can get attention. It's like an energy thing.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree. I know what you're saying. They can get attention, but I don't think anyone would look at a funny guy who lives with his mom and call him a high-value male. Whereas if you get a really, really beautiful girl, even if she has nothing else going for her, she'd be considered high value.
That's because in his mind, women are possessions.
Are you a good partner?
The best.
The best. What makes you
in his mind.
Besides you and the police, I don't often answer questions.
Okay. He's definitely had a police interview in the past.
I don't like to answer open-ended questions. I feel like they're a trap.
Why?
Because when you speak a lot, it's how you end up getting trapped, right? It doesn't matter if it's a police interview or anything else. The more you talk, the worse. So I want you to be very, very specific with your parameters within the questioning, because that allows me to answer them in a way which makes me look the best.
I don't know, I feel like a very confident man that was very sure of himself would just answer.
Do you think so?
Yes. Well, no, we know
Because I feel
a
like
confident person
Okay.
doesn't need you
A
to
very
lead them into a
innocent man would just
softball.
answer
Confident
the
person can just answer your question as they feel, as they are, honestly, because then
But
it
you've
also
never dealt with
suggests
a
that you're
police line.
dishonest.
That's
It's
not
pretty
how it
simple.
works.
But
No,
these
of
people,
course
folks,
not.
play
It
so many
doesn't mean anything. Innocent and
backflip
guilty
games
in and of itself is a false paradigm. You have to understand
that they
what we live
don't
in,
even
there's no
realize
black. There's no
that
such
somebody
thing as
who's
all the sliding
just a little
scale.
more comprehensive
They
than
wanna find you guilty,
themselves
they'll find you guilty. I guarantee you sold
picks up on
something
it right away.
on
And the
eBay 10
backflips,
years ago, didn't pay tax,
frankly,
you're going to jail. I'm enjoying this conversation, and I understand every point she's making.
suggest
and I'm
that
being
they don't have a very high
deliberately
IQ, that they have
However,
to
the
think
truth
this
is
way to
about the
make their
masculine
logic
feminine
work.
dynamic is that females like men who are completely in charge and run their life exactly
And then
how
there's a
they want,
confusion.
and they comply and bend to the man's wills and lifestyle.
There's a confusion over
Come along to a woman.
being confrontational as they are, insufferable as they are, ruthless and rude as they are, bigoted, misogynist as they are, with being sure of yourself, which is a very sexy thing. And that's for men or women. That's for any gender. If you're sure of yourself, people can smell it on you. If you have good experiences, if you bring a positive attitude and light into the room, they can see it on you. They don't have to wonder. They don't have to have you show them your Rolex or your car. That's left for those who are looking to come up one on a bag, looking for others to be a possession, looking for others to provide for them where they couldn't provide for themselves. Which is fine if you're down for that. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're teaching other people for $49.95 a month how to attain things they don't need to attain. Yes, Emily and Paula, it's all about making some money off of some folks that don't need to pay you. They should just ask a friend and find a friend. And that's a lot of this younger generation's issue, is they don't actually have friends, know what friends are, because they've been segregated and separated by the machines in their hands, by the ideologies they've been carrying, and by the voices around spilling cacophony into their ears and minds. Not to say that they don't have will, that they don't have their own abilities to discern between the two, but when you only hear massive amounts of nihilism, massive amounts of disregard, massive amounts of disenfranchisement, you might start to believe it if that is exactly the only thing that you're hearing. And I go back to, by the way, the young man at the beginning, and actually, let me share this and show you about how insecurity responds to the statement about insecurity.
All kind of insecurities in conversation, in the way a man presents himself, or like being hesitant, or like a bit shy.
And yes, by the way, one of the
everybody's a little bit insecure.
One of the messed up portions of that is definitely the fact that she was ready to sleep with him at the end when she found out how much money he had.
But insecurities, if it's something normal, but not.
That's the example of how there's just so much bad role model.
Introverted.
Both in the dating for women and dating for men.
Loud guys, yeah. Throw their weight around, take up the space and stuff like that. You like that? Like a bit of that, yeah?
Maybe. I mean, someone who's louder than me. I'm not that loud, but just louder than me. Yeah.
In what sense? Which kind of insecurity?
All kind of insecurities in conversation, in the way a man presents himself.
So what's interesting is that in her case, she just wants somebody to be more secure than she is, to make her feel better. By the way, that is the basic, old school version of negative attention needing. I need you to be more assured of yourself so that I can be less assured, and that at any given time I can just basically use that in the situation. And the guys like this, gentlemen like this, are nothing but predatorial in their behavior, looking for that emotional need, looking for that reliance upon, and
say, how do you want me to be so that you like me is a death sentence for the relationship. So
well, of course, because if you're playing that out, if you're really asking someone if they need you to be a certain way other than emotionally, interpersonally supportive, Yes, Emily. Then folks are going to be shallow, essentially. They're going to be solipsistic, likely. And it's not about that. It's about compassion and cooperation. Huh. Apparently somebody is running... the think tank is actually operating without me, exactly as planned. That's amazing. By the way, folks, I have a think tank that I set up and invited a couple people, and apparently there's some stuff going on. All right. Well, amazing. Amazing. And yeah, money is not everything. Wake up, people. That's what Emily says. Wake up. Because it's not just about being woke. It's about actually standing awake in the dream state that other people are skewing once they figure out that they can. Even if they don't understand how it actually works. If they do figure out that they can manipulate and skew, people like this guy will obfuscate and tell you a lie just to convince you to line his pockets. And I think we see that.
A man who lives true to himself, and a man who goes to sleep easy at night, and a man who knows that he's living true to his biological necessities and instincts, and tries his best not to hurt anybody, and leaves a positive impact on the world.
Are your actions congruent with your words? Yeah?
What else would they be?
I don't know. I don't know you, so that's why
You
I'm
don't
trying to
know?
get to know you.
Yeah, we're here to know each other. Of course they
Yeah.
are. Yeah, I'm a positive man. I'm a positively inspirational and motivating person.
Okay, what do you do that's motivating?
I inspire people to tell the truth, I think.
Okay.
And I think a lot of men live in a world now today where they have to lie.
You think?
In fact, I would basically guarantee that 99% of men are lying at least 80% of the time.
Because he is. And so, of course, he wants to project that to make sure everybody else feels the same way about the world, and it's just plausible,
Women are correct,
deniable.
and men are liars. Women wear makeup because men
And when the relationship doesn't work out, she plays the victim. And that's a problem too.
Men are liars because men
essentially, we are training a whole generation to not be truthful, to not be honest with each other, to not care about the actual empathic, cooperative commiseration, or a mild capitulation to each other's interests and needs after the fact. No, we're teaching people that solipsism, getting the bag, and that people are nothing more than bank accounts that we can subsist off of if that's how we want it. And it used to be that was a minority of folks, but now it's looking like that is more and more popular amongst a whole group of youth. Why? Because from the ages of 12 on, they were inundated with these concepts. And we should take that real fucking seriously. Because we're about to see these people en masse out in the public as adults. And we're already seeing the top end of the iceberg of these folks as adults. And they're adulating over people like this. Who we would have laughed at this guy. We'd have laughed at this guy and been like, yeah, whatever, Chode. Chad. Chode. Smells like a chode, I'm sure. That's why the ball hit. Let's go back to this for a brief second.
Your best bet is to literally ignore them.
Yes.
As in, do not give them the attention that they need. In general, the best way to handle a lot of shit is to simply ignore it.
By the way, this is Blessing Stranded.
I don't know if you've ever seen
the video
tweets
is
where
internet
all the
culture
replies are
is
just
fucking
unrelated
nauseating.
nonsense and basically everyone was ignoring the original poster. It's quite rare. But that to me feels like the ideal way to respond to someone saying dumb shit online. Instead of everybody getting riled up alongside with you, turn that post into a good unrelated laugh instead.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the majority of the internet seems to be allergic to the idea of ignoring things it doesn't like, and especially things it doesn't want to bring the wrong attention to. In today's age, you have a group of people that rely on call-out culture as a way to tackle all issues, trying to use that method against a group of people who are anti-culture.
To men and women.
I won't say their hearts aren't in the right place. But how many times
people
can your
don't
method
want
fail
to take
before you decide to
responsibility
step out
for
your
their
box and
actions.
think,
It's always somebody else's fault.
Maybe we should try something
The
different.
choices that they
Instead of
themselves make.
making even worse
Yeah, it
think
seems to be
pieces about a
very much more
situation you have an
popular.
inherent misunderstanding of due to a very intense bias. Both sides fail to understand that your ideology towards things like these
And it's
only
becoming
works amongst like-minded
more common.
people. You are
than
barely
not,
convincing
unfortunately.
anyone that leans more
As if
towards
somebody
the
else will take
ideologies
your
you hate,
accountability for
that
you.
They should change with these kinds of videos.
Even though nobody is.
It's really just circle jerk
And
content
I'm not gonna do
served in
it.
a pretty
I
package
take
for
my own.
like-minded individuals to gobble up.
But if I have to
Especially
show up for
considering
somebody
it's
else,
extremely common for people to seek out this type of
folks
content
aren't
to help
happy about
soothe the
it. Let me
anger
tell you.
caused by interactions revolving around the same topic. The hysteria around incels in general is also a great example of sensationalism through a different angle. Now, I'm in no way denying that it's a real issue. Hearing about a nail salon getting shot up because a guy felt that entitled to certain women is not fun. It genuinely hurt my heart seeing this. I can't even imagine the pain that community is still going through from this incident. But seeing people who already have a poor understanding of what they perceive to be incels is annoying, because hysteria is how topics quickly start to lose the plot and become muddied with a slew of misinformation. Not only that, but in this case specifically, it's caused the entire mental health conversation to legitimately regress these past few years.
Yeah, I
Excusing
mean,
the
it seems
fact that
like
it wasn't
the
great
mental
to
health
begin with.
conversation that he's talking about has been not just derailed, but then you've got people like, there's a certain female on the Twitch and YouTube circuit who seems to be giving out unwarranted psychological advice that I will get to cover at some point, but I'm still looking in the background and research to make sure I don't make the mistake of falling down the rabbit holes that others have around her, because she's basically so obtuse with her behaviors, so obfuscating with her behaviors, that one might say the wrong thing, and then next thing you know, you get a cease and desist or a baby lawsuit from her, from Canada no less. So I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to just come at her with her own words, and just like I do everybody else. Speaking of which, once again, Friday, the deleted materials of Destiny, including a 2.5 hour long documentary that I'm going to cover called Destiny's use of the hard R and the N-word. And we're going to cover how basically that person is just an extension of all this, and how we do need to pay close attention, since that person has the ability to wipe videos completely off the net if in fact they choose to. And I'll show you, because I seem to have clips that nobody else does, and I'm not sure how I keep getting away with it, but I'm expecting somebody to be fighting back soon. In any case, sorry to leave this person on a bad screen, but that's how I do. I'm not fair. I'm just not fair that way. And we all know that. Come on. We all know that. Doesn't make it any better. But it sure makes it funny. Hey, what a nice guy, by the way. We all get it. I've even frozen my own face in terrible positions. And this one is called Tate is Confused about History and Books and Women.
We talk about, I'm not even talking about myself here. This is not about my personal life. We're talking traditional. Traditionally, every single man in history had multiple wives, and there was not a single woman who was celebrated.
Every single man in history had multiple wives, apparently.
Disgusting and frowned upon.
That's amazing. You should tell your husbands.
In all of history, in all cultures ever.
I should tell my dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, my great-great-great-great-grandfather. We should tell all men that they didn't know that all men in history, hold on a second, that all men in history had multiple wives, apparently. All men in history had multiple wives.
Want to fuck a bunch of people.
I don't think you know what women want.
Well, the women I know don't want to. When I meet a
yeah, of course, because you date strippers.
Get out there and sleep with a bunch of dudes.
If you're dating them, you pay women.
There's definitely like cleat chasers who fucking love that.
Cleat chasers. We have 18 modern wealth creation methods.
I missed that.
I'll have to let people enroll in the school. It's extremely cheap. It's $49, and you can enroll and follow the systems. There's a quiz at the beginning that asks if you're time poor, if you're tax. If we talk about tradition, we talk about. I'm not even talking about myself here. This is not about my personal life. We're talking traditional. Traditionally, every single man in history had multiple wives, and there was not a single woman.
Every single man. I'm playing this over and over again because it's so absurd. I want it to sink in. How stupid.
In all of history, in all
how
cultures,
stupid.
Ever, women were supposed to be virgins. Women sleeping with lots and lots and lots of men has never been celebrated ever. Besides, in the last 40 years in the West, in a degrading society. Well, yeah, okay, cool. But if you're going to look at it traditionally, women were not supposed to act that way, and I don't think women want that.
Traditionally, there was no such thing as the Matahari, or no such thing as what? Traditionally, there's always been a whorehouse. The oldest job in the world apparently was a prostitute. So, no, there's 8 billion people. Sex is beautiful. Sex is natural. Sex is based. Sex is based.
I'll have to let people
Sorry.
School is extremely cheap. It's $49.
But that's that's the whole thing. Let me talk shit about sex and then jump straight into how I can teach you. The mental health bandwagon is overused. No disrespect to anyone who has legitimate mental health issues, says Paula Gray. Some people are just assholes, 100%, who want to create disturbance. 100%. And in fact, hold on a second. Let me give you some 100s on that one. Oh yeah, let me give you a bunch of 100s on that one. Goodness gracious, that is what it takes.
Has never been celebrated ever. Besides, in the last 40 years in the West, in a degrading society.
Yep.
Well, yeah, okay, cool. But if you're going to look at it traditionally,
Couldn't pay me enough to sleep with Tate. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Hold on a second, this is awesome. The mental health bandwagon is overused. Yeah. No, yeah, the assholes who want to create disturbance. Yes, absolutely.
I can't wait to get out there and sleep with a bunch of dudes. Maybe there are some. I don't know.
There's definitely like cleat chasers who fucking love that.
Yeah, we have 18 modern wealth creation methods, and
they have 18 modern wealth creation methods. But we're going to talk about dating. Because you gotta have money to get a woman. Shut the fuck up.
We talk about tradition. I'm not talking about myself here.
First off, this person doesn't know how to get laid without his money. This person doesn't know how to be interpersonal without his money. This person doesn't know how to be a human, I presume, based off of what he's saying. And I think that's important for us all to take note of, because really at the end of the day, he can't back up. If you take away all the stuff, he's not a very powerful or intellectually powerful or strong human. He's actually very weak, because if you need all that in order to, peacock, then you weren't going to get the girl in the first place. You might get her after, but you're not going to get her in the first place. You may get it on your looks, but as soon as you open your mouth, they're going to walk away and seek someone like me. That's normally what happens. But hey, who am I? I'm just an average guy, right? Well, that's the thing. Average guys win every time. Nice guys, yes, we do finish last. Because we're kind. And we care about our partners. And we know that sex is good. Sex is good for you. And by the way, the rumbling you hear in the background, that's my air conditioning. Thank goodness for it. It actually got warm again today. Thank you. Out here in the outskirts of LA. He has the asshole mouth like Nick. Yeah, he does. He does. And although he does have a low voice, and by the way, this is a very large man. He's a very large, huge individual, because he's a boxer, or a fighter, or was a fighter, which he should have just stayed as a fighter. By the way, feel free to call in. The call-in line is open. And let me, where is my mic? Oh, yeah. Oh, there is actually another track of rumble in there. Anyways, so let's take a look at this. Andrew Tate, okay, where do we want to go with Andrew? Oh, I know where we want to go with Andrew. Hold on, give me one hot, fast second here. Andy has a very interesting kind of a viewpoint when it comes to, what his value, what others' value is. Whether or not folks have any chance in life, whether or not they believe, or whether or not he believes they're worthy of him. And it's funny for a guy who who seems to whine a lot. He sure does think he's the end all be all. Which is funny, because you'd think you'd be aware that you're kind of a whack dude. If you need all these things, you whine a lot, And, you know, even when you don't know yourself and you think you know others, it doesn't stop these fools. And by fools, I mean...
It's quite a business.
Can women sign up?
Absolutely. Of course they can. I don't know where getting this impression I hate women. I mean, we can purport that. We can attempt to label me with that all we want. I'm happy to discuss it. I absolutely not really love women. I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life.
Paula Gray says,
I would never let a woman.
I can't wait to the day when two people who actually care about each other and genuinely want to get to know each other and see if there's a relationship there built on mutual respect and understanding and love. Abso-fucking-lutely. Paula, that's what it takes. It takes mutual respect. It takes love. They never talk about respect. You never hear respect, cooperation, commiseration. You hear subjugation. Pretty much specifically subjugation.
The whole idea of the roles has been conflated to the fact where if I come along and say women are better with children and men are better at fighting, that I'm somehow fucking sexist when it's clear.
Yeah, because you limit people. That is being sexist. You believe that they're limited to gender alone. That's sexist.
Absolutely. Of course they can. I don't know where getting this impression.
Look at his face.
I mean, we can purport that. We can attempt to label me with that all we want. I'm happy to discuss it. I absolutely not.
I'm sure you are. You love that attention, that negative attention, because basically that's what you are. And we'll find out why. By the way, I have the reason why he likes this negative attention. That's what he learned to get attention from his father from. It's all about his dad. By the way, if you didn't know who his father was a famous chess player, so he grew up in a legitimately intellectual household for a while. Paula says, or Emily says, Paula, that day is here, always has been here. These idiots are lying. It does exist. Yes, it does. These idiots are scaring our young men into believing and behaving this way, and it's just not the truth, frankly. And I think we need to take that into real consideration when we look at this, the whole of the behaviors and what they're selling, the programs they're selling, the prices they set on it.
Can women sign up?
Absolutely. Of course they
really?
I don't know where getting this.
I love that. He's like, really? Are you kidding me? This guy is such a liar. Oh my god. I mean, I would gather that's what he's thinking.
I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected. They should be provided for. I would never let a woman pay for a bill. I would never let a woman, if someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her. I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations.
Of course he doesn't. He doesn't see women
for the same reason I would never drop my children
as the same. He doesn't see women as equal.
I would only drop them in an all-female nursery. Women do certain things and men do certain things. And we live in a world now where the whole idea of the roles has been conflated to the fact where if I come along and say women are better with children, men are better at fighting, that I'm somehow fucking sexist when it's clearly true. There's nothing wrong with stating the facts. It's the truth.
No, he is a sexist. He believes that the genders are different.
Absolutely. Of course.
And do women actually take the program? No. No, they don't. I mean, if there are, it is very minuscule, 0.01% of this program. And the 87,000 men on his program are buying into something that he doesn't directly take part in. He's literally acknowledged that he doesn't directly take part in. His brother does. And there's a whole staff. A whole massive staff. And there's a number of great videos of guys talking about that there's no quantifiable outcome from it. That really all you do is go hang out with other people like yourself in Discord VCs, which is voice chat for the unfamiliar, and they help each other. They don't actually learn anything unless it's still you start paying $5,000 to $10,000, which is pretty wild. So the reports of this that I've heard and seen, you know, I can't verify them because I'd have to actually pay for the programs myself, but I can tell you that the common responses to these has been pretty negative. So Paula Gray says, facts, Aaron, no wonder I'm sorry, I gotta clear this out. No wonder they aren't taking Andrew's course. Yeah. Emily says that she actually has a lot of faith in the younger gens, and she sees so much good and potential within them. I think there's a lot of positivity too. I think there's a lot of thinking. I think there's a lot of conversation being attempted to be had, but I think it's getting obfuscated and limited by folks like this who are selling agenda and logic styles that don't actually actually act comprehensively, that aren't cogent, that are essentially insane, debased behaviors, being sold as legitimate, above board, good behaviors. It's not the facts, it's just the facts as presented by a propagandist who would have folks believe some bullshit.
Of course they can. I don't know where.
That's what it is. It's bullshit. It's falderall. It's chicanery to sell you a course. And
I absolutely not really love women. I have nothing against
pull
women.
this back a little bit.
Precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected. They should be provided for. I would never let a woman pay for a bill.
It's a big thing. What? All right, you're also known. You said it appears wildly sexist stuff. Are you anti-woman?
I love women. In fact, interesting statistic: 100% of the people I've ever had sex with were women. So I love women. I have nothing against women at all. I'm not sexist in any regard. I'm not misogynist either. I'm a realist. Like, I'm a realistic
yeah,
person.
Paula, women are not taking Andrew's course. Yeah, that's right.
You sexist, misogynist,
and Paula agrees with Emily. They need to be celebrated more. Women need to be recognized as equally as men, and we need to just recognize that humanity is lovely. That we're all fucking lovely. That we all have promise, that we all have an ability, that we all can be special, that we all can be normal. That we're all included, that there's a tribe for us all, there's someone for us all. It's going to be hard, it's not easy, it's not something you just get like picking up a bag of Bergdorf's when you got the money to do so. It's not how that works. People aren't property. People are tough and complex, and there's a whole skew and spectrum of their behaviors and interests. And if you don't understand that, if you're not into that, if that's not how you're affected, then maybe you should take a step back and ask the adults in the room or people that you trust.
Women are better at other things than men.
For what is the truth about others? That we're all individuals, that we all carry our own interests, that each and every one of us has something that you're going to have to pay attention to beyond yourself. Nobody is plug and play.
So I disagree
Except,
with that.
you know, the rare case where they are, and that's not going to last very long.
Men are stronger than women. I don't think anyone can argue
metaphorically, double entendre-wise, and in reality.
And you had the choice between a male pilot and a female pilot, you wouldn't have zero preference at all, Dave.
Not knowing. That one was not.
And you've also said that you could have multiple partners, but a female that was with you couldn't also have multiple partners.
And you can enroll and follow the systems. There's a quiz at the beginning that asks if you're time poor, if you're cash poor, because it's different. It's easy to make money if you have money, but a lot of people think that, you know, they can turn 10 grand into money. That's not money. So it depends if you have money to start, depends if you have time, depends on your expertise. There's a bunch of questions. We narrow it down. There's 18 wealth creation.
So they get to know who you are. They find out your information. They find out what you're missing, and then they harp on it.
And we have
they point it out. They make it a thing. They put you in a group of other people that are similar to you.
Students is the fact that I managed to retain 87,000 students. There's 87,000 people out in the world making more money than they invest each month.
Quite a business.
Can women sign up?
Absolutely. Of course they can. I don't know where getting this impression I hate women. I mean, we can attempt to.
Getting an impression he hates women, but they're property.
I'm happy to discuss it. I absolutely not really love women. I don't know where getting this impression I hate women. I mean, we can attempt to. We can purport that. We can attempt to label me without all we want. I'm happy to discuss it. I absolutely not really love women. I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected. They should be provided for. I would never let a woman pay for a bill. I would never let a woman. If someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her.
Yes, because he sees
I just don't
man as vicious creatures.
Calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can fight like a man can. And for the same reason, I would never drop my children in an all-male nursery. I think that's strange and weird. I don't drop them in an all-female nursery. Women do.
So he sees men as threats.
The smartest people in the world are men. But
and he sees women as demure.
That's been proven.
Oh, what? Where?
So there's.
And by the way, this little clip that I'm about to share with you is called. I named it. I'm sorry. Let me go back to it. Tate quotes the imaginary studies of his mind. that's what I call this one. Is Tate quotes the imaginary studies of his mind. And Paula Gray says we're all a work in progress. Not everyone's know-it-all like Mr. Tate and some PPB people, by the way, who end up in jail or on the run. Oh, passport bros. And let me make the face with you. Woo, ain't that the truth? I've been following the passport bros stuff and getting deep into like the Razor Rays and weirdness. I think a lot of them are schizophrenic. I think a lot of them are like, we would see them normally on the street here in LA, but they somehow get that like $800 to get overseas and you know, get online. What is that? Where do these people come from? How? Where? Why? Anyways, nice talking to you. Don't laugh for me. Don't laugh for me. Laugh for little Johnny who can't laugh tonight because he has no fucking brain. He's got no lips either. Anyways, Paula, 100%. Yeah. No, that is absolutely true, Paula. It couldn't be more true. It's crazy. It's crazy. These folks are getting around and affecting other people. And, you know, we are all work in progress. We all have something that we need to learn from the world and others. And that's actually what tends to be a great partner. Somebody you can learn a lot from. Somebody you get something out of. Somebody who adds another side that maybe you don't have. Fill in the blanks. When you do that with money, though, it's not the same. Because that then turns a person into a bank account, into an idea, into a possession. And that's what this person would have you do. Because he boils it all down to people being possessions, essentially. And I am going to tell you right now, that's not what we are. Not in any way. Not in any way whatsoever. We are way more than that. We are whatever we want to be. And that's the other problem with this is folks are missing out on all the greatness of themselves because these messages are fucking with their brains. So let's listen to what he has to say again, because this is a message of disenfranchisement for not just men. It's also a disenfranchisement for women. It's basically for everybody.
Risk my life to protect her. I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can fight like a man can. And for the same reason, I would never drop my children in an all-male nursery. I think that's strange and weird. I would only drop them in an all-female nursery. Women do certain things and men do certain things. And we live in a world now where the whole idea of the roles has been conflated to the fact where if I come along and say women are better with children, men are better with fighting, I'm somehow fucking sexist. When well, it's been proven that the smartest people in the world are men. But,
and we're about to hear the explanation of why he feels the way he does.
That's been proven. That's been proven.
Yeah, in some imaginary study.
The bell curve, right? So men are more likely to be on the extremes. So the most
and I'd look this up for you, but I don't have to here.
The most intelligent people on the planet are men. Women are more likely inside of the middle of the deviation. So this has all been proven, right? Men are more likely. Read the study. It's more likely men are on the extremes. Google it.
What are you yelling?
I'm gonna Google it. What am I writing in? What am I writing in for a Google search?
Are men smarter than women?
Okay. Are men?
But I can also give you personal experience if you'd like.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, sure, anecdotal. That makes the difference.
Let's talk about the personal experience, right? So my father was a chess player. My father's one of the best chess players in the world. He was actually the highest ranked black chess player in history at the time.
Who also left the house.
At the age of 13, I was a professional chess player on my route to being a grandmaster. Long story. My parents split up. I lost my coach. Blah blah blah. So I grew up in the.
Oh, blah blah blah. That's not really a big deal. That's not why I seek negative attention. That's not why I hate women. That's not why I teach bad behavior. That has nothing to do with everything. No. Ignore that. No, let's play it back. I'm not going to ignore that shit at all. I think that's very important to understand who Andrew Tate is. That his father was one of the top chess players in the world. That he must have wanted to impress. Because it's so imbued in his character. It's so imbued in his responses. It's so built into everything he does. Trying to impress people with a bunch of visceral bullshit that only matters to the shallowest, most solipsistic, megalomaniac mind. Huh. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, by the way, Emily, it is incredibly sad that these crazy, passport bros are risking their lives for a prostitute experience they can go to Nevada to have. Safely. Or they could go to Switzerland, or they could go to the red light district in Amsterdam, or they could go to the Ripperbahn, or they could go, there's so many motherfucking places around the world where if that's the excuse or that's the experience you want, apparently even in Japan, there's very healthy, well-run places that's run by the mob, but it's like organized, So how? They go to sex-positive countries and fuck it up there by buying prostitutes. It is always astonishing to me, but it isn't when you start hearing the logic coming from the top G. And a little scruffy boy. There you go. Yeah. I do something worse there, but, I don't have time to get booted off the program. Yeah. Anyway. Anyhow. Goodness gracioso. What are we looking at here? We're looking at Andy.
Chess player on my route to be grandmaster. Long story. My parents split up. I lost my coach. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I
no
grew up
doubt.
in the chess world.
Blah, blah, blah.
It's a really interesting world to grow up in because you're around hyper intelligent people.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing. They can't be the big Willie in Vegas. Because they can't afford it. That is absolutely, that's the other thing, is we're seeing these folks who are taking the real poor man's rat out, not even realizing that they can go overseas and just be a kind, decent human being, and most of the time meet people who are interested in you as a foreigner because you're, exotic to them. That's the best way to work that. Love and sex, companionship and cooperation, these are not things we need to pay for. You just need to be a decent fucking human being. It's that simple. Get out of your house, wash your ass, scrub your neck. The pits. It's good to wash the pits. Wear a fresh set of clothing. You'd be amazed at how far that goes. One of the greatest things I ever saw was in Verona, Italy. Doing a show up the street, and we actually went down to a place that was purported. Well, what am I talking about? We went to Juliet Capulet's house because we were doing a show in what had been Romeo of De Montague's, and I may be getting the names backward. I'm pretty sure I got it right though. Romeo's castle. So if you didn't know, Romeo's parents were the governorship of Verona, and there's a castle you can go visit, and actually they do concerts there. That's how I ended up experiencing that. I have pictures and probably some videos somewhere. And then right up the street, right across the river, you can see from one of the windows is the Capulet house. And her window is right across the way. They could see each other, for real. That's real. And it's a whole thing. There's a statue of her in the courtyard, yada yada. They moved her inside the courtyard. That's why she had to be stolen away later on. It's a whole thing. It appears to be fairly real. In any case, point being is that this area is renowned for a beautiful and historical spot for dates, where there's a bridge, and the bridge has the sunset behind it, and there's a river, and you're standing in between the House de Montague and the House de Capulet. What's more romantic than that, right? So the time that we were there, as we walked across the bridge, a couple rolled up, and it was a woman on a bike. I say woman, they were probably 18, 17, and they rolled up on a date. And the boy was on the handlebars, and the girl, she was riding the bike. And we all looked at each other and said, boy, there's something that would never go over in the States. Too many just different ideologies stopping people from just having a good goddamn time with each other. For whatever reason. As soon as you start putting in roles that don't make any fucking difference, you fucked it up for everybody. Let me boil it down to that. As soon as you start playing those games, start acting like someone has to do something, you got expectations, you've got all these things instead of just cooperating and being a kind, normal human being. So, that's what I put out there. Stop fucking it up for everybody else. Do whatever. There are no rules to it. It's just about how you get along with others, not about how much you pay for them. Okay? We're the only ones who think that way. We really are. And we're selling that shit with him around the planet, because by the way, he's an American, if you didn't know. And shit, I don't like that as an example. I think it's whack. I think it's really whack. Yeah, and actually, as Paul is saying, it makes no sense. Or Emily's saying, it's the blind leading the blind. Literally, it's just like, I know nothing and I know you know nothing. Pay me $50, I'll tell you nothing and it won't work and then you'll be angry. Well, fuck that. Fuck that bullshit. It's not that tough. It's tough to make the changes in oneself, to better yourself, and the betterment isn't how much money you make. It's just about being a decent human being, being kind and cooperative, and not being insufferable, not being a contrarian, not being a complete jackass. Understanding interpersonal skills, having emotional intellect, empathy, not being destiny. Don't mimic him or him. Flat out. Please. In my opinion, that's a bad route. No. Andrew was born in the U.S. He's a U.S. citizen. And then they moved to the U.K. and they moved all over. And because his father was a professional chess champion. And there's some interesting stuff about his mom that I'm not going to talk about. Because, of course, you know, he wasn't poor. He did not grow up poor. There's no reason this guy should be hustling people. None at all. His brother and he did not grow up poor or common. Yeah, his father is American. And, you know, it's really shitty that we have that as an example. Because it plays into so much stereotype and trope about Americans. Even though, really, he's spent the majority of his life out overseas, and he really has the ideology of somebody from Dubai, frankly. And that's a tiny portion of the world that is extreme and doesn't represent the rest of the world. And when I say that knowingly, knowledgeably, because I've been doing a lot of information searching out about the behaviors, the actions, the monetary values, the dating systems, the social interactions, the laws of Dubai. Why? Because they're all so interested in going there and taking their women there. Why would you want to do that? Oh, because the laws support Sharia behavior. It's one thing to be a practicing Muslim. There's nothing wrong with that belief at all. In fact, I think there's a lot of very positive aspects to the Quran and the practices of being a Muslim, just like any belief. It's a lot of wonderful based history and practices, but there's also the allowance in certain structures of that, you know, it can be wang-dangled into you own women, you can have a harem, so it fits into their ideology perfectly, and that's not honestly very American. We don't see that women are equal. We see that women are equal. We see that people are equal. We see that humans are not property. That's embedded in us now, and we continue to have to fight for it, crazy as it seems. I'd say that's the concerning portion of all this. I think we should really consider that these folks are not cool. They're not good people in their heart of hearts.
Some ex-KGB
and how can I say that?
Real weird guys who don't talk, but it's a world of ultra intelligent people.
I'm going to share that with you as the finale today of once we get there. We're not quite there yet, though. These internet, YouTube, TikTok, manosphere knuckleheads are dangerous. Yes, they do affect the way people think about themselves, the way they feel about themselves, the way people get confused about the situation, about dating, and also about just interpersonal skills or emotional skill, or having that at all. They're teaching our children and other people that they shouldn't have that at all. They should just be cruel.
Google, you're going to say it's run by the people, but I Googled are men smarter than women, and literally every single study says
yeah. Yeah, they are, and there's technically no difference. But yeah, women are smart.
The most stupid people in the world are men.
There's a song about it, so it must be true.
Because we fall to the outward deviations of the
Women are smarter, they say.
whereas women are
Iko all day.
So I'm not. This is not sexist because I'm saying the most.
It is. It's the Ethan Couch affluenza disease. It's access, it's stupidity, and it's also taking advantage of others that you know don't know the difference.
The highest IQs in the world, the first 10, first 20. Look them up. Are they men or women? I haven't done this. Look it up. But let's talk about my personal experience, right? Let's talk about the chess world. The best female chess player in the world simply cannot compete with the men. I don't know where she is, number 50 or something.
That's
right. There is no
not true at all. Actually, there have been plenty of female champions.
Element to women are better with children, men are better at fighting. I'm somehow fucking sexist when it's clearly true. So the argument there's nothing wrong with stating the facts. So there's more like true.
Except it's not the facts. It's not the truth. It's how you see that.
Absolutely.
Just so weird about all this, by the way.
I don't know where getting this impression I hate women. I mean,
yes, yes, we do have the impression that you dislike women altogether.
All we want. I'm happy to discuss that. I absolutely not really love them.
But let me take you over to the debunking of Andrew Tate, because this is just possibly the most powerful moment of that entire interview.
That is just a statistical fact. There's a
just so you know, in Google, you're going to say it's run by the people, but I Googled are men smarter than women, and literally every single study says there's no difference.
Well, I'll find the study.
And by the way, I call this little clip here, Andrew Tate debunked in under 60 seconds. So let's go back to that.
Just a statistical fact.
Just so you know, in Google, you're going to say it's run by the people, but I Googled are men smarter than women, and literally every single study says there's no difference.
Well, I'll find the study for you.
I'm sure you would love to find that study. It doesn't exist.
And the most intelligent people in the world are men because we fall to the outward deviations of the bell curve, whereas women are more likely to be in the median. So this is not sexist.
Okay, so even based off of that logic, that means there's more women that are more intelligent than men if men are out on the bell curves and women are in the median. That's the logic. I'm gonna even say it out loud. Let me just play out Andrew Tate. I'm gonna go ahead and play this out loud, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to make no sense whatsoever, but I'm going to say it bold-faced to the camera, so therefore it makes it fact. Fuck this guy. Sir, you don't get it. Yeah, he doesn't get his own facts, Emily. He didn't even understand what he said, which is pretty amazing.
I think it's wrong. Like based on everything, I just think it's there's like
okay, cool.
Studies that pop up.
Well, then if you were to look up the highest IQs in the world, the first 10, first 20, look them up. Are they men or women? I haven't done this. Look it up.
Yeah, but IQ doesn't make a person smart. It just means that they can memorize and be rote. And it depends on which form of IQ. There's a number of different intellectual query.
There is no physical
and quantifications.
Why men should win. There's no physical element to chess.
Who do you think plays chess more, men or women overall in the world?
That's a good argument. So the argument is that men play chess more often, so there's more likely to be higher ranking chess. There's a larger pool to pick from, of course. But this has been very heavily dissected inside the chess world. They found 500 female chess players, 500 women, 500 men, started them at school at the same time, started them at chess school.
I did highest IQ in the world. Literally what comes up. Marilyn von Savant.
Yep.
One of the world's highest IQs. She is known as the smartest.
Oh, in other words, so he's wrong.
World.
Cool.
And a lot of the women are just like,
then I'm totally wrong. I never even said.
Yes, you are totally wrong. I'm just gonna hold this for a second. Yes, you're totally wrong. Because you're a goofball. You're just a big nerd. You're not just a nerd. You couldn't get a woman unless she was just as goofy. And that's fine. Good for you. And you'll have goofy children together. Lots of them. And they'll be impressed with the fact that you have a bag. And that you like to spend a lot of time with other men sweating on the ground, rolling around, being manly with other men. And that you need 10 to 12 women to make you feel manly. Okay, I understand. It takes a lot to make you feel manly. Yes, apparently so. All right, and the only way you can combat that is with anger and violence, and so that's your answer to everything is, let me lift my fist if you say something I don't like, instead of being able to use your brain, which is actually manly, which is actually intellect. But hey, who am I to stop you from being an idiot? Clearly you've made yourself rich and others rich by being an idiot, but that doesn't make you good. In fact, that's dangerous as fuck. dangerous as hell. Takes you down a long stairway. A long-ass stairway to somewhere nobody wants to go, by the way. And by nobody wants to go, I mean, you know, taking us to hell, man. Taking us all to hell. Metaphorically. Psychologically. Sociologically. You're impacting society at large. Yep, Emily, men, simping men again. And by the way,
Parkour.
100% Emily, 100%. Let me give you some 100% over here. Hold on a second. Yep. That's the truths. That's the truths. Men, simping for men, simping for men. In close proximity, sweaty, rolling around on the ground. Boxing is their only answer because they want to touch each other and have any excuse to touch each other. It is pretty wild. Always amazed at how they'll come up with any excuse to touch each other, even if it's in anger. Whew, they want to touch each other so badly. Anyways, speaking of touching, and speaking of inappropriate behavior and what's really wrong with these guys, and where the attitude goes way off the rails. Oh, by the way, let me take us on a little detour. Let me give us some good advice. Let me share the difference between good and bad advice. Because, I normally just focus in on some bad shit.
But it's clearly true. There's nothing wrong with stating the facts.
Yeah, they're not facts, buddy. They're not facts. They're just what you want to be facts. They're just what you consider facts.
And today we're going to be reacting
This is Courtney
to a
Ryan.
TikTok video.
I think you've seen her
It's a
before with me,
TLC
right?
clip that has been trending lately. So I'm going to share some of my thoughts about this video specifically, and then some related topics that kind of go hand in hand with what we're about to watch. So let's give it a go and then reconvene.
Normally and typically in an Arab household, the man usually is the provider financially, and that's just how it is.
That is just something I wasn't prepared for.
By the way, this is a passport, bro.
Just like most American people expect the woman to contribute half, or not half, just.
So he's in Morocco with a Muslim woman, and he's like, "But I'm American. You should be taking care of half. I'm looking for a traditional wife."
Moroccan women
What?
prioritize family over material things.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
Not anticipating that it would mean I have to be the sole provider for a household.
Yes, you literally said that you thought that. Okay.
Now you know I
Right.
like to share both
What is
sides
wrong?
of the
These guys
equation
don't have
here.
any
I think
logic.
It's only fair to do so. So let's start by first talking about the clip specifically, since I
Yeah.
just showed that to you. So I did a bit of Googling here, and in Morocco, the average salary as per the exchange rates in May of 2023 is approximately $23,290 US dollars.
It's actually
per
fairly
year.
cheap to live
This
there.
is less than the annual average salaries of the US, which is $56,310 US dollars, and also many European countries. So I think that's important to note right off the bat, is that huge difference in average salary. So
Yes.
this man in the
So
clip
he's
says that he wasn't expecting to
running
be the
away.
sole provider, and of course this is a very short clip taken out of context,
Which is what these men are doing.
obviously to get views.
They're
and
running away
attention
from
the public,
accountability.
which is exactly what it has done. I cannot
They're
even
running away
tell
from
you
responsibility.
The amount of stitches on TikTok I've seen from this video.
They're running away from
We have
being
to
men.
Keep that in mind as well. We don't have the full picture.
They're running
and
away
it's
from
important to know
being
that. But
cooperative.
something to think about though is that sure she might expect
Because they're getting
to be
every
the sole
excuse in the
provider, but maybe
world
number
to
that
not
she
have to take
expects
part,
is
like
lower
normal
than what
people.
a woman in the US
And they
would
think that
expect, since
somehow
the
there's a
average
cheat
income in
code,
Morocco
as
is
if the
much
Matrix
lower than
is an
in the
actual
US.
game and not a
saying that for
combined
sure,
reality we
because
all
obviously
share.
don't have any extra information or context here to prove that, but it's certainly a possibility, and a possibility that every single reaction or stitch that I saw personally didn't mention, like completely failed to mention that aspect, and I think it's actually a really important thing to note.
Yes.
Now, he said, I thought
She's very
Moroccan
right.
women prioritize family over materialistic things, to which I would make the following important call out, that if a woman values family and expects you to provide, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's materialistic. I think it means that she probably wants to stay at home and raise her kids and not work outside of the home and be, the primary caretaker.
Yeah, it doesn't
In this
mean that
case,
she
he would
doesn't
be
also
the
recognize that there has to be an
provider, and
income
personally,
made by somebody.
I don't think there's anything materialistic
So funny.
about
Like,
that
oh,
at
she
all.
should just
She would
not have a
contribute
brain
to
about
things that are
anything.
just not financial,
Okay, except for
running a
home. Oh, I
cooking,
see.
Cleaning, taking care of the children, being in charge of appointments and all of those things. This is a lot of work, and it's also incredibly valuable, and I don't necessarily think that everyone understands that to the full extent. So I really just wanted to highlight that just because someone wants you to be the sole provider doesn't automatically mean that they're materialistic. They're probably family oriented, which is what you say that you're looking for.
Little dot on her nose.
And my advice to you guys who are looking for more of a traditional relationship,
there we go.
Traditional woman, is to be
now she doesn't have a hole in her head.
Kind of
I felt bad for that.
Man, then, right? You know, if you're looking for someone to go 50-50 with you or contribute in a financial way, you're actually looking for a career-oriented woman.
Yes.
Right? Or how
Isn't that amazing? And by the way, career-oriented women are awesome. They are bold, they are smart, they are together, they've done something with their lives, they have experiences, they're interesting, they want to go out, they have money, they can buy you a present, hell, they might even buy you a goddamn bag. That's the thing that none of these men actually want. They don't want to cooperate. They don't want somebody who's on their level because then they can't control a situation because they're afraid that they can't control a situation. They might have to be emotionally, cooperative. They might actually have to share. They might actually have to be emotionally based. They might actually have to have an interpersonal conversation and give you the equal time of day. They might actually have to care about you. And they don't know how to because they're little boys playing with the Tonka trucks and their fast cars, Matchbox style, trying to impress you. And when they can't do that, then they pull the negative intention and attention card, trying to impress you again. But that peacocking the next time becomes an endure situation where you just need to endure their anger, endure their peacocking around. I don't think anybody should have to do that. That's not what good relationships are about. Good relationships are about respect. It's that simple. Respect for each other. Appreciation for each other. Not the lack thereof. Which is very weird about all this. It's like they would suggest you to run away from the accountability in having to be a kind human being and cooperate and have an interest in your partner and pick a partner that you would have an interest in. Somebody who maybe they have a career.
Know what you're looking for, and in this case, well, there's
God forbid.
plenty of career-oriented women in the U.S., so I don't necessarily think you would need to go
very far.
Morocco.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really just wanted to make that distinction because I see a lot of people say, you know, I don't want a career-oriented woman. I don't want a woman who works. But then you say that you want someone to be able to contribute financially.
Yeah, it's just a contradictory thought, which is, by the way, what these guys are selling. They are selling contradictory thoughts so people end up confused. We hear the logic constantly, and it's actually frustrating to listen to oftentimes because you know that the people are saying cynical or illogical statements that they're holding on to as if it is absolutely fact in any situation, when we know that it's not fact, that these things are emotionally driven, that when you ask them to substantiate more than a fleeting point, they get angry and deflect. They all do it. They all do the same thing. It's that destiny way of thinking. I'm going to call it destiny way of thinking because on Friday I'm going to show you how this guy has had the same tactic the whole time, and now his debate tactic has become incredibly obvious to me. He just doesn't actually take part. He just rolls on his own line of thinking with an agenda that's separate of everything else, and he may take little snippets from the conversation, but he's not actually taking part in the conversation. He's driving his own train. That's why it's so frustrating. That's why he thinks he wins everything, because he's not actually taking part in anything. Easy way to win, huh? When you're just playing your own game that doesn't take part in any other game. Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh. So that's what's coming up on Friday. Not to mention, you know, a whole display of how this behavior has been systematically used to confuse a whole generation. Not just confuse them, but get them convinced that they can be as asinine as the rest of the folks without any substantiating logic. It's just, I think that you don't like something because I like something. We saw it the other day. When I shared with the Hoko. And by the way, smashed dude last night with some basic information, as his tweet last night was, well, let me pull it up. Oh, we're not talking about Destiny. I'm sorry. I was about to go down that train and it's like, oh, it's so easy. It's so easy to go down that train because I have hours upon hours upon hours of him contradicting himself over and over again, of him being more concerned about being able to use the N-bomb in private than whether or not it affects his friends. It's inhumane behavior being substantiated as if it is the logical way to treat society and that there's no empathetic or emotional value to the human interactions. It's all just a debate. That's all it is to them. It's just a matter of whether or not they can be right or not. And as we all know, that's not what the fuck life is about. I'm sorry, let me put the background. Yeah, they may have to believe they can have a real relationship, Paula Gray says, and not lead with their money. Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing, is they have to relearn how to be, essentially. They don't know how to be, but they have to relearn it. Because they've learned all the wrong lessons. And we've seen how there's very little accountability or expectation that there should be respectable behavior on their part. Weird. We got to stop teaching male children, Emily says, that it's shameful to experience emotions. Exactly. We've done it for way too long. We keep doing it, and we're not out collecting berries or fighting tigers or carrying guns at our side, even more so to fight off the bandits. I think it's time we start teaching men how to be real men by collecting and owning their own emotions and being in touch with them and having that being a part, which I think has always been a part of being an alpha, if that's the case. When actually alpha is really about sigma and omega. But it's not about any of that shit. That's all military. That's all Greek. Fuck that. Let's talk about being human. Being real. And part of being human is having an emotional value understanding, having emotional intellect, having more intelligence about oneself's emotional context, where it comes from, how it works, mental health, than not having that mental health and playing in anger. And as someone who's gone through plenty of his own anger issues in life, and I'll tell you that right now, I've had to learn how to not be angry. Because I've had a lot of things in life to make me convinced as a man that I should just be angry about them. And I've let that take a hold of me. And it is an easy brainworm to let take over. Because anger is so easy. And happiness takes effort. Every single day. And we shouldn't take that lightly either, because a lot of these folks don't even know how to approach the happiness. They don't know how to approach allowing for the happiness in themselves, because they've been told to not even let it into their heads. Just be seething, because that's what a real man is. Stoicism. But you know what? That's what brings me to the culmination, basically, today. The piece of information that maybe you forgot that I put out there. And I'm going to let my old self describe it. My old self being me in the earlier videos, because this is one of the first. How serious this is, or how serious he is about this, then you may not know the viciousness of this human. And if you don't, I would ask you again, do you want to emulate the character of this person after what he says coming up here? Do you think that is what makes the world a better place, or you a better person, or a more winning personality if you follow and emulate what he's about to say? Just because it served him somehow? I would ask you this, to ask yourself if you're a grown person, or a young man, or a young woman listening to this. Or anyone, pretty much. I think maybe it's some alien watching the show. Thanks for joining us. Stay with the killer. Look at the seriousness with which we chose to add this video. This is on their site. I did not stitch this. people who live under these terms hurt other people. And they use it to control them and their environment out of fear. And it's one of the oldest gangster tactics. It's one of the oldest tactics of anyone who didn't have the capability of having other people work with them, and they knew it. So their only last tactic was fear through violence. And this is crazy. Exactly, Paula Gray. Men who are secure don't need to degrade anyone to feel superior. Self-confidence is attractive without being a dickhead. Yeah, they confuse the aggressiveness, the supremacy ideas with being self-confident, which is insane. Speaking of confidence, I have confidence that, hold on a second, what did I just do? Oh, it's over here, sorry. I was trying to do something fancy. I have confidence in the fact that you folks know how to make good decisions. I have confidence that you folks are kind. That you'll take what you want out of this, and you'll leave the stuff that you don't agree with behind, and that you'll be kind about it. And yes, again, Paula, 100 with the, oh wow. That was insane. I just got taken down. I don't know why, but I just got taken down. Holy shit, am I back on? Can I get a 1 in the chat if I'm back on? That was insane. Wow, apparently OBS is not happy. Hold on, let me get my face cam back on. Whoa! Thank you so much, folks. That was crazy. OBS just crashed. It kept my stream on in the background, but it just crashed hardcore. It just closed out. That was wild. Thank goodness. I'm so glad that you're still here. Thank you. Holy mackerel. I don't know what's going on today. My computer it's not running hard. Okay. Well, let's get on with the story. Thank you so much for sticking. And just because of that, I'm gonna wow. That was crazy. It just straight up closed. Hold on. Wow.
If someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her.
Oh, would he?
I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can.
Okay, well, that's all good and such from him, but that he'd stand up to some man who apparently hurt someone. But you know, it's interesting that he says that. You know, it's interesting he says that. So please, do not hold it against me that I'm sharing this. I think that people need to see this because it's what is important to know about this person. And I can only gather that these words will come to haunt him. Once again, their stitch, not mine.
I guarantee I changed the way you look at sex forever. You're gonna be fucking crying. I won't cry. I bet you cry, bitch. I bet you fucking cry. Don't challenge me. You're effectively challenging me to a fight now.
Whoa.
You're saying I wouldn't cry. You're challenging me to a fight.
Sex is an act of violence with him. They think sex is violence. It's a challenge to a fight. That there's an equivalence there. Yes, because sex is a battle with them. That's the root of this fresh and fit. Oh, crowd. Emily, it hasn't even gotten hard. Or it hasn't even gotten wild yet. Main icon at this moment. Now that Kevin Samuels has passed. And Jordan Peterson is really a religious character, more so than anything else. This is what they truly believe at their root. Because their actions speak louder than even their words. Because if this is just bluster, That's even worse. That means if he was feigning, and I missed some commentary. I'm sorry. To plume and peacock around, that's even worse because he's trying to get other people to emulate, so that he seems. Oh, Emily says and gets that she sees us watching, powerful. And that she gets. Paula says.
You're saying I can't hurt you.
Wisdom from
You're out of your fucking mind?
her father, who's a really great man.
Because it's not going to be like, oh, hurt them enough so they enjoy it. No, I'm just going to straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then.
This is who's teaching.
Yeah, you want to.
This is who's teaching the lessons. I bet you cry then. I'm sorry. This is sick. It's sick. Me in the past, it's sick. Oh, yeah, just wait, Paula.
Dead serious.
He's dead serious.
Clearly, this guy who was a USC.
Let's hear him say it again.
He's dead. But you cry. It's a distraction. You're out of your fucking mind? Because it's
powerful.
You're saying I can't hurt you. You're out of your fucking mind?
This is the message he's selling.
Because it's not going to be like, oh, hurt them enough so they enjoy it. No, I'm just going to straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then. Yeah, you want to.
I bet you cry then. I'm sorry. This is freaking disturbing. Yes, Emily, he's normalizing abuse and violence. Absolutely. I mean, he's dead serious. Clearly, this guy who was a USC boxer. Oh, it's not done. He's not done. And there is no explaining away any of what he's about to say. At the end of this, you'll see. And people forget that I have this video, even though this video is not available any longer. It is attached to a Fresh and Fit video. This was attached in Fresh and Fit. They were putting this out there. Man, you gotta show. Fresh and Fit had this on their show. Wow. Because that's where I clipped this from. Right guy. When you're thinking that hard about how to show everybody that you are what you want them to think or that you want to be, it lets everyone know that you're just holding your guards out. That's not who you are, who you want to be. And so you'll do anything to be that because you aren't that. You made yourself into that, and good on you for making something of yourself. But if you become a demon that hurts people and uses them up and steals their money or whatever, treats them poorly, uses that to climb a human ladder, what are you? He is a psychopath, honestly, in my opinion. Of con man. He doesn't care about the pain. Lowest he uses sociopathic tendencies or behaviors to because you couldn't even gain trust with others. How to make your con look and legit. His attitude about violence without harming people to keep them in place is about harm. It's about control. Horrifying, man. And here comes the evidence.
Distraction from the dick. Well, that distracts me. I'm trying to fucking fight. No, I just want to fight. Say that shit to me again. These hoes out of control. Can I say this on YouTube? Yeah, I can say this on YouTube. I've legitimately done that.
Sure, I guess.
Girls run their mouth. I just start beating the fuck out of them. I'm not even having sex. They love it more than ever. They like it more. The less sex you have with them, the better. She asked for it.
Look, I apologize.
You gonna do it again? Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man this time? Last time I beat you like a pussy. Yeah. I beat you so bad, I've been called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
Yeah, to me that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
And I just... Yes. Tate's followers are young men who need the most guidance. Yeah, I enjoyed the view. That too. But more importantly, point out the disturbing relationship going on here. And he ends up calling her sick. But... you. That too.
Yeah, to me that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
So
Last
he's
time I
not
beat you-
just experiencing this on his own.
I beat
He's
you
being
so bad,
egged
I'm
on.
called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
To me, that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
And I just have to stop it. He's
I
being
beat you so bad,
instigated
I
as well.
Girls
he's
run their
giving
mouth.
the
I start beating
example
the
that
fuck out of them. I'm not even having sex. They love it more than ever.
This
They like
is
it more. The less
accepted
sex you
by
have with them, the
certain
better. She asked for it.
So it's not just a male
Look.
thing. I apologize.
You gonna do it again? Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man this time? Last time I beat you
Last time.
like a pussy. I beat you so bad, I'm being called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
To me, that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
Uh-oh.
I just have to stop here. Yeah, and enjoy the view. That too. But more importantly, point out the disturbing relationship going on here. And he ends up calling her sick. But talk about toxic interaction. This is the dynamic that they're actually talking about when they're selling their ideas. This is the one that they really want. She wants to be beaten up. Apparently because the inaction, that's what they're selling. So I'm confused as to what other message we're supposed to get from this. Be a violent pimp. Wow. Wow. And nothing against the real pimps in the world.
Yes, Paula,
their
that
violence
woman also has a
is-
responsibility in the situation, but I want to bring
Last
this
time I
back.
beat you like a pussy.
Because of course, if you're a real man, you gotta show your evidence. Wow.
Yeah, she needs to take her own responsibility in the situation because she's
Right,
spreading
guy.
the message just like he is.
When you're thinking that hard about how to show everybody that you are what you want them to think or that you want to be, it lets everyone know that you're just holding your guards out. That's not who you are, who you want to be. And so you'll do anything to be that.
In his case, it's just who he ended up
But
as.
you aren't that. You made yourself into that, and good on you for making something of yourself.
Because don't forget, this is someone who was just on the Big Brother and got famous from that.
Demon.
After he had been a boxer.
And uses them up.
A fighter in
Steals their
UFC.
money or whatever.
Because that's what he is. He's a
Treats
brawler.
them poorly.
So no
Uses
wonder
that
he has a
to
violent
climb
aptitude.
A human ladder? What are you?
But that does not excuse
the lowest rung of con man.
That doesn't excuse
The
being a
lowest
con man. It doesn't
rung
excuse
of
grifting off of
thief, because you couldn't even figure out
incels
how to make your
need
con
help to meet people and
look legit.
find friends
without harming people to keep them in place. Horrifying, man. And here comes the evidence.
Distraction from the dick. Well, that distracts me. I'm trying to fucking fight. No, I just want to fight. Say that shit to me again. These hoes out of control. Can I say this on YouTube? Yeah, I can say this on YouTube. I've legitimately done that.
Sure, I guess.
Girls run their mouth. I just start beating the fuck out of them. I'm not even having sex. They love it more than ever. They like it more. The less sex you have with them, the better. She asked for it.
Look, I apologize.
You gonna do it again? Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man this time? Last time I beat you like a pussy. I beat you so bad, I'm being called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
To me, that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
There shouldn't be two audios
And I
playing at the
just
same time, but let me double check.
I have to stop here. Yeah, and enjoy the view. That too. But more importantly, point out the disturbing relationship going on here. And he ends up calling her sick. But talk about
Nope, you shouldn't be hearing two
toxic
audios. Let me double check.
This is the
Hold on.
This is the dynamic that they're actually talking about when they're selling their ideas. This is the one that they really want. She wants to be beaten up. Apparently because the inaction, that's what they're selling. So I'm confused as to
you're hearing
what
both
other
the
message
original
we're
video
supposed to get from
and
this.
also me.
Be a
live.
violent pimp.
There you go. Yes, two audios.
Wow.
Now there's actually two
Nothing
audios to
against
play back.
the real pimps in the world because their violence is
yes, Emily. He's tricking.
comparative to this, to be frank with you.
This is a new guest. Panda. Do you realize you have two audios playing? Yes, that's called a live microphone and a pre-recorded microphone on the video, but it's okay.
This devolves our social equanimity because some people will never.
The guy down in the
let
box?
it balance out.
No, the guy in the
And they'll
box.
actively substantiate that imbalance with bad behavior.
That's me from several months ago.
And abuse.
Talking about something that is
Anything
currently
they can,
happening as well.
and then a denial that what they're doing is just obviously
But hold on.
messed up for everybody else.
You're good, Panda. You're
except
good.
for them.
And
Once
welcome.
again, it's
Panda.
about looking up to see who benefits.
I'm guessing the panda just
always gonna be a
tumbled
tiny
on into
little
the
group
room
of-
like a jester. That's fine.
Honestly,
I love that.
Con man.
And you're always welcome. You're always
Most of the
always
time,
welcome.
though, the good ones.
If you're here for good
they
conversation,
figure
by the
out
way,
how to do it, so none of
you
you
will
even
end up
feel.
with a
None of us ever feel it. We just stand
with
in
a
our
mod
cage
badge if you're here for long.
behind our ideology and our tribe and scream at each other. And in this case,
Yes,
this is,
yes, Panda.
This is a tribal leader of one of the concepts
welcome,
currently
welcome
out there
here.
in the manosphere.
Just, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a lot of mods around
You're
you.
watching
Because everybody's a mod here, especially after you
admission
made
of
yourself a
guilt
regular. So you know
about abusing and using
because that way
violence
everybody's
against
armed.
people to keep them in line.
And yes, the
Flippin'
idea
insane. Really
of
what is
basically
going on?
using violence to control is
And
the whole background of this.
I found a quote,
Especially when you start hearing the current endure in a bad relationship. Everybody's just giving up
like to share.
endure. But what if it's abusive? Oh,
Voltaire
endure.
said, "Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities."
And one last time,
to keep them in place.
just so we don't lose this.
Horrifying, man. And here comes the evidence.
Distraction from the dick. Well, that distracts me. I'm trying to fucking fight. No, I just want to fight. Say that shit to me again.
Really,
These
he's
hoes
just
out of control. Can I say this on YouTube? Yeah, I can say this on YouTube. I've legitimately done that.
Sure, I guess.
Girls running their mouth. I just start beating the fuck out of them. I'm not even having sex. They love it more than ever. They like it more. The less sex you have with them, the better.
He probably
She
shouldn't
asked
have
for
said
it.
that on YouTube.
Look, I apologize.
You gonna do it again? Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man?
Is he
this
going to
time?
beat
Last
her
time I
like
beat
a
you-
man this time is what
Like
he's
a
saying.
pussy. I beat you so bad, I've been called a woman beater all over
Yes,
the fucking
Emily.
country.
Yes.
Me, that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
And I just have to stop
Both
here.
of them, honestly.
Yeah, and enjoy the view. That too. But more
By the way, I was
importantly,
responding to
point
somebody
out the
in the chat
disturbing
that they were enjoying the view.
relationship going on here. He ends up calling her sick. But talk about toxic interaction. Wow. And nothing against the real pimps in the world, because their violence is nothing comparative to this, to be frank with you. And not to, I mean, like,
Yeah, not to underplay them. That violence is
but
violence, folks.
This
But
devolves
comparatively,
our
you want to talk about,
conversation. This devolves our social equanimity.
Yes.
Because some people
devolvement,
will never
the debasement.
let it balance out, and they'll actively substantiate that imbalance with bad behavior and abuse of anything they can, and then a denial that what they're doing is just obviously messed up for everybody else except for them. Once again, it's about looking up to see who benefits. It's always going to be a tiny little group of, honestly, con men. Most of the time, though, the good ones, they figure out how to do it so none of you even feel. So none of us ever feel it. We just stand in our cage behind our ideology and our tribe and scream at each other. And in this case, this is a tribal leader of one of the concepts currently out there in the manosphere.
One of them. Turns out he's pretty much the pope of bad behavior here.
If you're watching what I just watched an admission of guilt about abusing and using violence against people to keep them in line. This is flippin' insane. Really? What is going on?
Yeah, I still don't know. I mean, I do. And yes, Emily, it seems like he really dislikes women. He dislikes himself. I think he dislikes dating. I think he dislikes the emotional value. I think he dislikes everything. It's a childish, adolescent point of view that's being sold and being made, millions off of the idea. And then it's abusive as well. It's bringing back the idea that men should have no rules and that women should have all the rules and that we should just be, controllers of others. And that leads down a very terrible path, I think we all know. He hates himself, and then the transference that he hates, that transfers into him hating women. Yes, exactly. And I'm sorry, I misread that, but Emily Paula Gray says he hates himself, and then that transfers that hate into women. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. I agree with that 100%. That has a lot to do with the fact that he's still angry at his dad, frankly, if you hear what he had to say earlier about that. His father left him, and he was very impressed with his father, and it still seems like he's very impressed with his father. And what that turns into is negative attention seeking. And we see it here, is it doesn't matter how much money, he'll never be satiated in his soul, because he'll never actually get that attribute. He'll never get that experience of the love of his father that he's seeking now, because he's not seeking that. He's seeking adulation through transference and replacement. He's seeking bullshit, trying to fill a hole. That's understandable. He is a hole, just an empty vessel. Teaching other people how to be empty vessels. And he probably blames his mom. Exactly. He's probably very angry at his mom. We shouldn't take that lightly. But as we round this corner towards the end, let's head off into the corner, shall we? Talk about what we saw today. By the way, once again, the calling line was open the whole time, so clearly nobody has anything to say to me about it, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I always get to this point, I'm like, damn, nobody called. Shit, no smoke for me. Good day. Anyhow, we're over here in the corner. Let me pull that up. Where are we? Oh yeah, I gotta turn over in the corner. Come on.
If I come along and say women are better with children, men are better at fighting, I'm somehow fucking sexist when it's clearly true.
Yeah, he is somehow fucking sexist. He's totally fucking sexist.
Women sign up?
Can women sign up? Oh yeah, sure. Sure, women can sign up for.
This impression I hate women. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know where we got the impression that you dislike women there, buddy. Nobody said that. You said that actually, which is even weirder. So, what did we learn today? Well, and by the way, just want to... Panda, I'm from California. I'm a Cali boy born and raised, but I have traveled around the world. I've lived in Moscow. I've spent a lot of time traveling and visiting and putting on concerts and making arrangements for and dealing with and working for famous people and rock stars and large corporations, putting on events for them, and pretty much I'm a go-to when it comes to you need to do something wild and crazy and large and you don't know who to contact. I'm the fixer they tend to contact. So, and hi Bridget Moten, hey, what's happening? I'm so sorry you're coming in at the end, but that's okay. You can always replay, which is thankful, and I'm so thankful you're here. By the way, the she needs a reverb for that one. That's delay, but Bridget Moten, the one and only main mod here. So, he probably blames his mother for her choices. Let me backlight this so we can all read this. Emily, facts. He probably blames his mother for her choice in men, and his father, and that being his father. Andrew has spoken about the complexities of a relationship with his father before. Yeah, that complexity plays into the dislike of women. That complexity and the dislike of his father and in general, and the problem with his parents. I mean, it's something I struggled with when my parents got divorced when I was 18. I disliked my father for a very long time, and had a real problem with him, and have only in the past couple of years come to a lot of, and I'm 49, only in the past couple of years. This happened when I was 18, 30 years ago. It took a very long time for me to come to a place where I could love my father again. And not see my mother as making mistakes. Because you start to see them as human, which most people don't realize, that when children experience a divorce, they tend to take their parents' with a lot more love before that. So, and see them as more equal than when they're adults and see a divorce happen, because that has a different impact. Psychologically, sociologically, it has a different impact. And then trust me, I experienced that directly myself. So, what did we learn today? Well, we learned that this person basically gives terrible advice and doesn't even know what he talks about. We saw that his stats are all wrong. His beliefs are all wrong and easily disproven. And he comes from a point of view of general anger. What else do we learn? Oh, well, we saw Bridget Moulton, and we saw Paula Gray, and we saw Emily. Thank you, Emily. And we saw someone named Pandas. Yo, Pandas, welcome. And so thankful you could be here. And who else did we see? We saw somewhere, I know that I'm always missing people back in the early portion of the chat that I always forget. And I forgot to mention several people yesterday. Happy Life. I'm so glad I scrolled back because I would have forgotten. We saw Happy Life today, and thank you for being here. And I'm sure there's a couple lurking around that I didn't mention, and so many people. We saw this fool. Yeah. Anyway. I thought he was leaving social media. Yeah, and by the way, just to quote our friend from the beginning of the show earlier, he actually says it for us. And the friend I'm talking about is another creator who I'm going to share. Oops. I pulled up my own show and not the creator's show. Hold on a second. This creator is called Blessings Stranded, and he says it pretty well here.
Hysteria is why you'll see people treating every mildly frustrated guy in a comment section as an immediate threat to society. As if, I don't know if y'all ever seen tweets where all the replies was just unrelated nonsense and basically everyone was ignoring the original poster. It's quite rare. But that to me feels like the ideal way to respond to someone saying dumb shit online.
Yes, and so I brought that back up because I think that his point of view is a great lesson for us all. What can we do about these folks? We can ignore them. We can take away their power by not acknowledging all their negative attention seeking. And I think that's the bigger lesson in section 3 today, where what we learned is that you can just fucking ignore them. Leave the trolling to someone like me, because I'm doing it to fumigate the area so that we see the roaches come to the surface, and maybe they'll change their shape. Maybe they'll have a transformative moment, and they'll have a Kafka-esque experience. They'll have a metamorphosis. And instead of turning into a cockroach, they'll turn from a cockroach into a human again. Yes, and exactly. No, it didn't take him long. Bridget, to return after he said that. And of course, it's haram to him. It's anything he could use to valor signal, because he knows that's what sells, fear and valor signaling. Which is the other lesson. This person is selling a grift. He has a class that he wants to sell you in place of actually teaching you how to meet someone or to learn how to have interpersonal, educational, or, emotional intellect. No, he doesn't want you to have that. No, he wants you to learn how to make money, because the only way to learn how to make money is by involving yourself in a $49.95 pyramid scheme, essentially, in my opinion, that you pay people that aren't even essentially associated directly with him, but are rather, he puts you into a VC chat on a Discord and has you all figure out your problems together, because you all have similar problems, unlike him, because he's a rich kid. Yes, ignoring them would take away their publicity, 100%. And we need to teach our children to ignore these people and place a trolling with positivity and silliness to remind them that they are the goldfish sitting in a tree and they put themselves there. And yeah, it's nothing unlike, Paula Gray says, just like rock stars who say, I'm leaving the music industry and they're gonna miss me. Yeah, they miss the limelight because they're megalomaniacs, essentially. They are very solipsistic. They are full of themselves. They're involved. They're selfish. I'm using these terms because I'm tired of hearing all these other terms. People want to talk about gaslighting. Just a fucking liar. People are so afraid of getting sued when the lies are apparent. We have it on film. We can play it back. Yeah. They don't care about the religion. They care about spreading their grift. And the easiest way to deal with this is in lesson 3, we ignore them. So, what else did we learn? Well, we learned that his word is very unreliable, that he doesn't know the things he talks about, that he would tell you something to the extent of,
Report that. We can attempt to label me with that all we want. I'm happy to discuss it. I absolutely not really love women. I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet.
You'd have you believe that.
They should be protected. They should be provided for.
But do you believe that?
Pay for a bill. I would never.
I think that's the other lesson, is that it doesn't really matter what he says. If we know it to not be true, we should ignore it, because we can see it in action in his case. So if it's untrue, yes, he's attention seeking to the 10th power, Paula Gray, just like a little boy.
I think that's strange and weird. I would only drop them in an all-female.
And he is concerned about things that he projects out of fear, just like a little boy.
Idea of the roles
even of his physical behavior
come along and say women are better with children, men are better at fighting,
is what he thinks a man should look like.
There's nothing wrong with
but that stoicism is a presentation of fear to anyone who knows what they're looking at.
Absolutely.
And it's unimpressive.
Of course I can. I don't know.
He'll even lie to you and say that women, and by the way, I love the look on this guy's face, like, it's some bullshit. So that's the other lesson, that Andrew Tate will tell you some bullshit even though he knows you don't believe it, because he's just a showman, essentially, to a degree. A showman who believes the bullshit he's shoveling. And what should we take away from this? We should take away from it that this person isn't just unreliable,
this impression I hate women. I mean, we can attempt to,
but that they are dangerous and sneaky and bad for the mental health of people at large, especially the young men who are taking him for granted as if he is the role model and the example. And that's not the truth, folks. That's not only not the truth, it shouldn't just be taken for granted. And we need to start ignoring this person and replacing him with healthy, positive mindsets. Not whatever this bullshit is. Because men and women are very equal. There's no difference in intelligence, but there is a difference between this person's emotional intellect and the intellect of the public at large that would buy into him, because he is smart enough to play the grift on them, to take advantage of what they're afraid of. And that's the final lesson today, is that there's a whole group of people that would buy into this because they just want to experience a little of it, and they don't know. They just don't know. And it's up to us to tell them that there's another way, that there are other ways, that there are better ways to find companionship and healthier relationships, and they don't involve demanding rights over other people's bodies. They don't involve abuse through physical behavior. They don't involve simulation of grape. They don't involve misogyny or misandry. They do not involve the behaviors of this adolescent man-child who would pimp his way onto the circuit so that you... Oh yeah, there's my loincloth dancer. He and Tate have a lot in common, actually. It's very strange. And actually, before we leave today, I'm gonna actually bring up a popular video of mine to remind you that Andrew Tate can be seen in a totally different way if you take just a little bit of him and make him seem as silly as he actually is. So let's get out of the corner. Is this the almighty alpha known as Andrew Tate strutting his ballet maneuvers? Find out soon on Look Up! So yes, this is an old episode you can find of me as I head back over here, pull us out of the corner. One could be confused by all of this fancy maneuvers, but yes, it is definitely not Andrew Tate in his real, not performance of a lifetime, showing and strutting his stuff. And let me run this back
just a little
only
bit. No.
Andrew Tate could ever possibly do. Oh yeah. And let me share with you as he strips himself of the alpha
come on, look
male
at look at
potential
that.
to
This is
become
what Andrew
greater
could
back,
be if he
as
just
his
got into
greatest
himself.
ballet moves are strutted that you didn't know he didn't ever do.
I mean, if Andrew
Because
just let
Andrew
himself
Tate
be himself,
throws
this is what
his
he could
bag
be.
away to give
I
you
think we need
the
Andrew
heat,
Tate the dancer,
the
don't you?
fire. That is the true intensity of alpha male. Andrew Tate-ness that you never
Malpha.
knew
Men
in this
being alpha,
unfounded
by the way.
footage.
Unfounded
currently
footage.
displayed on your
Completely.
screen.
Yes.
Have you ever seen such fire?
No.
Such movement, such grace like a gazelle. Andrew Tate
pirouettes
proves
from Andrew
he is
Tate.
definitely
Not
an
Andrew.
alpha male, amongst other alpha males being malphas with each other. Meanwhile, the reality is, it's just hilarious that there's a dude who looked exactly like
The
Andrew
heat,
Tate, who was way
fire,
more, honestly.
that is
the true intensity of
check this
alpha
out.
male.
If Andrew really was a man,
Andrew
a full
Tate-ness
man,
that you never knew in this unfounded footage,
he would be able to do this
currently
and walk away
displayed
and
on your
still bag
screen. Have
all
you
the
ever
women.
seen such fire, such movement, such great?
No, and by the way, that is a series of really well done pirouettes. That's a real dancer right there. And I wish Andrew Tate was this guy, because then we would just be like, well, we know why Andrew Tate is so angry. People aren't respecting his dance moves. It'd be that simple. And let me just roll it back a little bit further so you can really get a vibe of how
Is this
good
the
guy is.
almighty alpha known as Andrew Tate strutting
Not.
his ballet maneuvers?
It should be.
Find out soon on Look Up!
Yes, and you can too. That video is available. It is called Andrew Tate Ballet, ? Look Up, episode 24. Before I started doing the stream. So, yeah, Andrew Tate, ballet. This is what he should be, honestly, folks. Because he's just a tiny dancer. Not unlike my tiny dancers. He should be down there with them. Dancing it up. Letting himself be free. Because he's not. Right now, what he is he's the guy who's spreading around this bit of bullshit and thinking that he's a badass for it. And I'll go back here to another old video of mine that people were confused a little bit by because I was talking over myself. Oh, where'd it go? It's right here. Sorry I'm not looking at you. But oh man, holy shit. Maybe it's in my clips. Hold on a second. Did I put it in my clips? Oh man, that is interesting. It dropped it out of my library. Wow, I've been having. Oh, there it is. Okay, here it's back.
And
just to remind you, this is what he believes.
On. And I found a.
This is what this guy believes.
They figure out how to do it. Yeah, and enjoy the view. That too. But of this fresh and fit crowd. That's the root of the manosphere, or its main icon at this moment. Now that
yes, Bridget Ballet Tate. Ballet Tate is amazing. They should really merge and make. We should go to the reality where they merge, because Ballet Tate. I think people, if he did the same shtick but was also Ballet Tate, we might have to take him seriously. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you. No, we should never take him seriously, even if he's Ballet Tate.
Their root.
So, just one last time, so
Hey,
y'all
Joy,
remember.
No, I'm just gonna straight hurt you. I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about
This
that?
is
We
what
walk
they
in the
really
bedroom,
want.
I start
This is
kicking
what they
your
really
ass.
mean. This
No
is what's in the
sex.
background.
No sex
This
involved.
is what they're trying to sell.
But you cry then. Yeah, you want to.
I bet you cry. I mean, he's dead serious.
Yes, he's dead serious.
There's evidence of his backing up. Bright guy. Everyone know that you're just holding your guards out.
Yeah, especially if you're that thin-skinned that you feel like violence towards anyone is an answer. That is you being thin-skinned. That's you being weak, not you being strong.
Man.
People like this are weak.
Distraction from the dick. Well, that distracts me. I'm trying to fucking fight. No, I just want to fight. Say that shit to me again. These hoes out of control.
Because his only answer is
Can I say this on YouTube?
weakness,
Yeah, I can say this on YouTube.
having to fight,
I've legitimately
having to be
done
physical.
Sure, I guess.
That is weakness.
Girls run their mouth.
That is
I
moral
start beating the
weakness.
fuck out of
That
them.
is
Mine
ethical
have sex.
weakness. That
They love
is
it more than ever.
thin
They like it
skin.
more. The less sex you have with them, the better. She asked for it.
Look, I apologize.
You gonna do it again? Are you gonna do it like a man this time?
What do you mean like a man this time? Last time I beat you
Last time.
like a pussy. I beat you so bad, I'm being called a woman beater all over the fucking country.
No, to me that was like a pussy. You need to do it like a real man.
And I just...
And she's as culpable
Stop here.
as he is. Anyways, that's where I leave us today. And let me put it on his face so we're reminded who we're actually talking about. Him. Oh, that's a perfect hold right there. Folks, the problem in society comes from allowing people like this currently to infect, affect, and drive the conversation. And it's up to us to ignore them, to provide something alternative to those who would seek information from this person and others like him. Because don't forget that this comes from Fresh and Fit. They are promoting abuse these days on these videos. Yes, and this is actually old. This is from a couple months ago. This is when I started back on YouTube. I think it's well, it says it's it's episode 5. I found this through Fresh and Fit because they played this at the end of their video. It's not up there anymore, I don't believe. It's just like Destiny or some of these other folks, and unlike Pearl, who doesn't know any better, it seems, they leave these things up, or they take them down out of fear. They think they can get away with it, they'll leave it up, but they didn't leave this one up. Huh. Surprise. No, I'm not surprised. It's real shitty. Because people like this have invaded our world with their own fears and projections. And they're changing our world slowly. So we need to change it the other direction. Yeah, we have to ignore it. And YouTube does nothing to censor it. Except that's the thing is, we can get YouTube to censor it. I mean, heck, if they change the variances on how you get a partnership based off of a small group of us screaming at them that they're morons for not letting more people make money, then we can get these people off the air by just saying they are promoting bad ideologies that don't make you any money. But the problem is, people like this make YouTube money. You can just look at the PDB interview yesterday. PDB has 918,000 subs, something that or thereabout. But he got 7 million views on the show. That's how you know. When you look at the stats, 90% of the people that came to his channel for the interview, they aren't subscribed to him. Most of his subscribers didn't even watch. It is that potent a character that people want to be real. And we need to wash this away. We need to change the access. We need to change the behaviors. We need to talk to people. We need to change the minds. We need to help them rubber band back to normality, of civility, compassion, empathy, cooperation, and positive sexuality. That's actually why I'm changing the title this weekend for the Ministry of the Flying Pig. I'm going to do a whole series on how sex, empathy, and compassion, good sex, good cooperation, good knowledge of self, and self-love are awesome and very important to life. Much less being a good person. Much less learning how to be kind. It's all intertwined. So I agree we need to ignore the people, but not the fact that it gets proliferated on YouTube or that YouTube proliferates it to make money off of other people's pain. We need to take close interest in that on a regular basis, because otherwise you end up with people like Destiny on the air for 12, 13 years, and they just keep getting kicked off of one channel or the other once they reach the limits or somebody actually pays attention. But YouTube boy, they let him do whatever he wants. So, that's why I'm focusing on that on Friday. And all the deleted material, all of it. That I have some that is left around the net, and how hard it is to find when he doesn't want you to find it. And I'm also going to let you in on a little secret that he doesn't want you to know that was obfuscated by a friend of his who wanted to out it, but not be completely truthful, so he could LARP on people and make Destiny Stephen Bonnell II worry about reality and have to look over his shoulder forever. Because I don't know if you know this, but Stephen is worse than this guy, in my opinion. Even though his following isn't as big. He's the reason that this person has an audience, honestly, because he's perpetrated so much of the audience for the past, decade or more. Shoveling up, and handing them off to this guy. And others like him. It's a system, a feudal system, no less. Run by a troll. And that goes all the way up to the YouTube, too. What I've found is that the algorithm's run by a troll. An unhappy man who's lonely, who allies himself with all the background of the nationalism and the interests of a certain group of folks who none of us should have any inkling or have that person involved in any of this. It is wide-reaching, folks. And it's why we see the things we do being propagated and proliferated on this social media services. And that's where I'm going to leave you today with one last little bit of hope. Is that we don't have to pay attention to these folks. They aren't real. They're actually all bullshit. And it doesn't take much to inundate their information with reality. That facts undermine them so easily that all you have to do is just address them by saying, shut the fuck up. You are so stupid. And they freak out and you go, see, you can't even handle a little bit of bully criticism like you give others. Oh yeah. There's lots of these folks, and the easiest way to deal with them is ignore them and or turn to them and undermine them with facts because they don't have them, and they play on little sidestepping notations that inside their little brains that don't actually create cogent or comprehensive thought, and can't handle the comprehensive thought and think that any stupid quip is a win for them when it's just something that makes them look idiots. Like idiots. Like idiocy. Because don't forget, those who sell you an idiocy would also sell you an atrocity. And they're trying. They're trying. Which is why we gotta not let them get any further. And how do we do that? Well, my friends, there's very little we can do in a lot of ways, other than standing our ground and speaking our minds. But most importantly, it's something I ask you to do pretty much every show. It's not just to pull people out of the obelisk prison that they build for themselves. It's not just recognizing what's going on. No, folks. It's something very important because it's what you do when you walk on a stage. It's what you do when you walk into a room. It's what you do when you're standing in a crowd. It's what you do when you get on a subway. It's what you do when you wake up in the morning. It's what you do when you put your fucking devices down. And I ask you, please, with all of my heart, really, truly, because it's the only thing I can ask you. When I reach out my hand to you, and I hope you do for others, as we spread these seeds, like the flowers with the pollen and the bees on the breeze, one at a time, individually, heart to heart. That's all we can do. Except for this one little thing that I ask every single day. Folks, please, if you can, it's all I want to say to you, really, at the end of the day. If you can, and you got the time, or you see someone in trouble, or you see there's trauma, or you see there's drama, or you see that somebody needs to be pulled out of a pit, or you see that there's mental prisons holding people down inside the metaphoric obelisk, there's really only one thing we can all do. And I think you know what that is. At the end of the day, folks, we can say it together. And I think you know what that is. Look out! Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. And by the way, Emily, recent donation, $35. I just looked at that. And recent subscriber, Trevor Selleck, thank you so much. Don't have super chats yet, but there's the scoreboard. You can find me at LOOKUP on Discord. That's with an exclamation point. Or at AronMSound, AronMSound, at any of the services you see above. Thank you so much for being here. It's so important. And as Paula Gray says, please remember to hit the like button on the way out, good people. And thank you, chat. Have a great evening. See you all in the next one. And look up. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Look up. And I really appreciate you being here. It's important that we spread the word that there's folks who want to influence in a bad way. And we can do something about it all together. Thank you so much for being here today. Nothing better than knowing that there's more than just me out there who's willing to share that last little bit of knowledge. And hopefully each one of us can take the time to look up. Have a great day, y'all. I hope this takes you into the day in a better way. Have a great, great evening.